Hello.
And we're live! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is this madness? Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Naturally One. Welcome back to Naturally One.
I am providing a very unique commodity.
Please tell me the names of your companions.
Who, what, when, where, and why? I don't know if you've captured Hal yet.
Bob is sleeping outside and boiling acorns and having a good time.
Hey, how's our patient doing? Still alive back there, buddy?
Bob, I want you to roll me some percentile dice. Not only is there no pulse, he's cold.
I guess that's one less thing we have to drag around.
I got horns, I got some teeth, kind of sharp. I got some tricks up my sleeve.
And make sure that we don't cut ourselves on glass. One's mostly
can we
dead.
use one of the dead bodies to break out the rest of the jagged glass at one of the windows so we don't hurt ourselves?
If you look close enough, you might notice that his eyes are moving so fast that you wonder how he can see anything. And I'm going to say, this is for hurting my friends. And I take my dagger and put it right underneath his chin. Right.
Actually kill him?
Oh yeah, he's dead. I want him.
Oh!
Small human in a big city for the first time ever in his life.
Let me guess, the
Decision to not
highlight of your
want
life is what you're gonna do in order to make a name for yourself, maybe one day even slay some really cool monsters. Just like every one of those guys over there.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll be here next year. I'm gonna climb that ranking as high as I can, and I ain't gonna stop until I reach as high as I possibly can get.
Holy monkeys, we are live. Apparently Sudafed does dick all when it comes to, cleaning out poor Renningham sinuses. Hello,
just
everybody.
congestion.
I know.
Sorry. I'll let you do this.
No. It's okay. You can talk about your congestion and then we can welcome everybody. Stuart here is, just dying in the sinuses and all that. And so
Slowly but surely. We're all dying, man. The inescapable march of time.
I hear that 100% of people that drink water and breathe oxygen die.
Well, that is one of the things that kills you is the oxidation of your cells. The degradation of your DNA due to oxygen.
That's why antioxidants are so important.
Yeah.
Like wine.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. And it also has alcohol in it, which kills bacteria and viruses.
Yeah.
So it just...
Yeah. I decided to cut back on drinking because my liver, and then I got sick. So, coincidence?
Direct correlation.
I think not.
Correlation.
I think not.
I think there's some causation going on there. Sure, yes. That's how it works, right?
No,
I'm sorry. That is
Causation?
called science. That is data collection.
It was a double-blind study.
Okay.
I closed
And a
my
blindfold
eyes.
on each eye.
I closed my eyes for a little bit of it. Oh, it was...
Well, your wife was joining you, so her eyes were closed too. That's the double blind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I got her to marry me.
Gotcha.
Just
Make
close
sure.
your eyes, honey. It'll be fine.
Yeah. See, when you laugh, you close your eyes. That's why I'm so funny all the time. Is that way she keeps her eyes closed a lot of the time. She doesn't realize
What she's gotten into.
what she's legally obligated to do now is be my wife.
That's how it works. It's a legally binding contract.
It is. You know what? We both signed. So she was
Read
under
the
no...
terms and conditions first.
We have them hanging above our bed.
About that return policy, it expired.
I threw the receipt away. I burned it. I knew I wouldn't need it. I'm keeping her forever. Because I love her. Because I love her.
Uh-huh.
I'm not... It's not like she's...
It's not like you're legally committed, you actually love her.
Yeah. We could tear up the
It helps.
contract. It'd be fine. I'll stick
Romance
with
in a relationship? What nonsense is this?
it. I know, in this economy, my gosh.
Genuine affection and communication?
But really
Oh,
about the
yeah.
economy, though. Anyone else got anything fun in particular before we go into the
Into the
D&D
dungeons
recap?
to face the dragons.
We got a shrug, we got a head shake, and we got a Sniffly Stewart. That's your new nickname, Sniffly Stewart, Sniffles McGee.
man.
Actually, this is really fitting because Renningham, when we last left off, Renningham was still quite damp from his excursion into the water before the people were trekking around deep in the underground, and it's not really warmed up a whole hell of a lot.
I've ruined my pants. The pockets are now just filled with sewage. This is never gonna wash out.
There was a fight between the party and a group of gray oozes that
we didn't do so well.
were hiding along the ceiling, a ripply, goopy form, nice, thin, spread out, and they drop down. And
It's coming out of my sinuses.
we nearly lost some people. Jim was knocked unconscious.
We're in game for those of you keeping score. Bob.
Was it Penn or was it Theo who was knocked unconscious as well?
Theo was knocked unconscious too.
Yes,
Penn went up on the other side of the oozes and was highly contemplating running away, but decided to stick around because, you know, how else was he going to leave afterwards? Theo tried to drag Bob out of trouble and wound up going down.
That is right. Yeah, going into
Didn't really have many options.
Some life-saving that did not go as smoothly as planned. And then Renningham, burning through what few spells he had left, doing the best he can to...
It's working hard.
Really, it was a hope and a prayer that you were going to be able to pull off.
It was literally like a Hail Mary right at the very end of the combat.
Yup.
Wish I was there.
Sorry to say you lost a dagger, of course, too.
It's not lost, it's just damaged.
It's just in... it's just
yeah,
in
so
bad shape.
in your inventory, there is a dagger that has been renamed.
Ooze damage dagger, I got
Yep.
Yeah.
So it has a -1 on its attack and damage, I believe.
Ooh, so now that's just a toy. That's just I'm gonna throw this at the next thing
whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
Clink.
The other part with the two players being
have
knocked
soap.
unconscious is that Theo, after a couple rounds, was able to snap to. Bob was damn close to not
He's standing
waking
right
up
on the
that
edge
time.
of life and
Yeah.
death.
When did I get 75 gold?
Yes, you stole it. That's right. You
all right,
and Penn stole from a
that's
storeroom.
right.
Or the
You
sticky
also
bandits.
stole a child's medicine.
They don't need
Well,
it. They probably have insurance.
That's right. That's when the party turned evil. I forgot about that.
We stole
Not
children's
all the
medicine.
party.
just chaotic. It's not truly evil. You're just chaotic.
We're borrowing the medicine. We didn't steal
I
it. We're
would
borrowing
disagree
it.
with that. If you're taking medicine out of a child's mouth, I think that qualifies as evil.
It was not in the child's
wasn't
mouth.
in their mouth.
For the record,
Probably.
it was on a shelf.
Oh, how do we even know it was a child? Maybe he was just holding it for one of his friends.
Because his father told us that we'd taken his son's medicine.
Dad's lie. Look at my mental health.
He's just covering his ass for the police report.
Theo tried to offer him some gold, but he refused to accept it.
I mean, I
Theo
have
felt bad about that.
75 gold. I could have just flipped a coin and said, I'll cover it.
Dad would have refused it.
What
He was
kind of
right.
medicine? What sickness did the child have? Was it viral? Bacterial?
I believe Bob was the one who ran some tests. He did some observations and determined that it was, nothing extreme. It's not like the kid had like childhood cancer or anything like
It
that.
was something that
but
could be easily treated if you had access to the medicine.
Nothing chronic. I mean, in medicine, there's probably plenty of homeopathic methods. That kid just probably said, hey, what, we're in a dungeon. We're in like a like a underground. He just needs to get outside, get some vitamin D, fresh air, kid. Touch grass. That's
Well,
his real
except
problem.
that
That's
in
his
this
real
circumstance,
problem. Spending too much time on the Fortnites and the TikToks, and he's got some kind of sickness that he needs medicine for. What is it, G Fuel? Is that what we stole from this kid? Come on.
No, this kid is effectively trapped in a dock in a box, and he actually needs to go to a level 1 trauma center. And we
dock in a
took
box?
away his ability to get to that level 1 trauma center.
What's a dock in a box?
It's like a urgent care center.
Oh, is that a colloquialism? I've never heard it called a dock in a box.
Yeah, it's colloquial.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Poor
start using
kiddo
that.
had fever,
Thanks for that.
no cough. He was very
Oh,
quiet.
dock like doctor. Freaking
Yes.
idiot. I was thinking like a dock like where you moor ships. Like what? Why is that in a box? Why would you put a dock? Is it like an underground lake?
yes. So the child who is being currently taken care of deep underground beneath the space between a landlocked city and a deep underground mine. Yes.
I'm telling
They
you.
need to be taken to the shipping docks
Aquifers,
hundreds
man.
of miles away.
Could have been a dried up aquifer.
I'm sorry. Could please take those phrases one more time and think
A
about them
dried-
before you
It could have been, droughts, man. Water is tough to come by underground. Let's go. Keep going.
So yes, that is where we last left off in Naturally One. You all got a long rest.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's flip and go.
You made up a small camp in the cold but otherwise quiet space. The tunnel continues to emit its pale white-blue light. You don't see or hear anything that indicates any more creatures of particular note moving along, other than the occasional scuttling of those tiny grayish lizards that had kind of gone up along the ceiling as you guys had originally approached, and were the first cues that something was amiss on the ceiling as they were getting quickly snatched up by the ooze.
So we've lost Klor's scent by now. How did we get from the room with the explosives to people living down there?
So okay, so beyond the door where the explosives were, where you had last left off, the last session, you didn't have to go far down the hallway before you saw an archway with dim light kind of glowing through.
Okay.
Going in there, you check and see this is some sort of storeroom that's been converted into a living space.
Gotcha.
There were boxes and barrels and things kind of all strewn about, and a set of several bedrolls. Doing some investigation, that's where you found some gold, you found some medicine, a couple other just minor odds and end trinket-y type things. And then as you continued onward was where you found a man in, slightly above average garb. He was a slightly portly fellow with a very old, damaged-looking sword drawn, and he was just trying to figure out what you guys were doing down there.
Fair.
Eventually revealing that his wife and children were with him. And inferring from some of their side conversation, they are the ones who were living in that storeroom.
Gotcha. Okay. So where are we? Where's Klor? Why haven't we found Klor yet?
Well hidden.
You lost the scent. Do we need to go back? Are we going back for him?
We tried backtracking. I mean, that's when Bob went off in his little cat form, and I followed after him, and we didn't find any hint that Klor was back the other way. So we had a conversation, and I think we all concluded that we would continue on downward. That seems to be the best way to go.
Well, I've always heard onward and upward, but I guess we're saying onward and downward.
Well, yeah, because in this case, downward is going forward, and upward would be going back.
Could downward be upward if we stand on our heads?
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm onto something. Onward and upside downward.
Okay.
And just kind of turns and looks at you. You're definitely on something.
I had a great nap. I'm feeling fine. Let's go. Just kind of start taking. I assume that the campsite is somewhat collapsible, and we can just keep going.
It's a crudish campsite. Looking at what you guys have on you inventory-wise, it's just kind of like a, mess kit, bedroll.
Yeah. Are my pants dry?
Dry enough.
I don't know. Did you dry your pants?
I feel like I would have taken them off to sleep and set up a little tent next to the fire to let some airflow and some heat. I want dry pants and shoes.
You do have prestidigitation.
It was a long day. I was a little unsure about taking the medicine. The gold helped that decision quite a bit, but I wasn't really thinking. I was tired. I feel like I didn't have a lot of hit points at the moment, probably.
What are hit points? Never heard of those.
I was just health. My constitution was lacking. And there goes my camera.
Your camera's lacking too.
I'll fix it. Just kind of shimmy.
For those of you who hadn't hit the long rest button and done that to your character sheet, you can also recover one ability score damage that had been done across any of the abilities that had taken damage. So most of it was Constitution. If you have already taken your long rest, which would have been at the end of last session, I had mentioned it then too. So
I did.
Some of you start getting some hit points back, which is nice. All right. So you awaken after your rest. It was a little hard to really nod off outside of, the fact that your bodies were, quite beaten. The dim light kind of continued to glow and occasionally would throb, just not really in a distinct pattern. It would just occasionally dim and brighten again. Every so often there is a smell of salty air, little wave of humidity coming down the hallway that you guys had come from. The only direction you have yet to travel is down the rest of the salt hallway.
Oh man, I slept pretty good, although everything is sore right now. Feels different than, a day of hard work, but still pretty satisfying. You ready to keep on moving?
Well, just make sure you stretch, stay hydrated, and important to keep motion. I once heard objects in motion will not stop moving until something else stops them. So as long as you stay going, you'll keep going.
I'm pretty sure my little brother said something like that once upon a time, too, from one of his school books. So it must be true.
That's that city learning.
Pen just kind of looks at you like, your town had a school? Your little town had a school?
Well, not my town in particular. They had to travel to the next one over to actually go to school. But my little sister and my little brother, they go there. And they were both very smart. My little brother in particular has quite the brilliant mind, likes to invent little machines and contraptions. And I gotta be honest, he's probably my hero. He's pretty impressive.
Well, why didn't he help us with those oozes?
Because he lives back in my hometown on the farm with my mama and helps out there and is continuing his schooling. Also, he's younger than me and not an appropriate age to be adventuring around.
Well, how can you be a hero without adventuring?
I don't think it requires adventuring to be heroic.
Well, anytime I've heard a story about a hero, they were on an adventure.
As you guys are talking about this, Pen from the literal other end of the salt hallway is like, hey, you guys coming?
Oh.
Yep, we were right there.
Probably keep walking. So we catch up with Pen.
Mm.
Hopefully, anyway.
Pen's just being Pen, just wandering off doing their own thing.
Being pretty salty about it, too.
I mean...
Tonight's secret word is salt.
Do you have a Pee Wee Herman style? You said the magic word! And then everything... like a big confetti burst, and we all scream, and the cameras zoom in and out. And
if you wanna get me all of the assets to get that configured, I will happily make a you said the magic word button and just have it just fanfare and everything everywhere. However, it will only be on your camera.
Oh no! Well, I gotta fix this thing then.
Anyways, the hallway.
The hallway.
At the end of the hallway.
The hallway. I knew it.
Is a T.
So we can go left?
You can
or
go
we can
left.
go not left.
You can go right.
Well, I have a rather impeccable sense of direction. That way, and I point left, is west. And that way, I point to the right, is east.
Roll me a survival check.
Oh no. That's a 5.
Total? That's a 5?
Oh, survival's wisdom.
Oh,
ooh, no. That's a, well, I guess my modifier doesn't count. It's a +0, so survival
okay.
is
So it's a 5.
It's just a 5.
Okay. Yeah. You say left is
left is west and right is east,
yep.
My guy.
That's what you say.
So, judging by where we came in, which was approximately southwest of here, and those turns we took to get through the room with the explosives was that way, and I point behind us, we should go east.
I'm still questioning the peccable nature of your sense of direction.
So is Theo.
Well, what's your sense
I think
of
that
direction?
it may well be peccable.
Well, you can peck my direction all you would like. Which direction would you like to go? If you want to go east, it's this way.
I think we'll follow your direction, just to see what happens.
Oh, just to see how well we get.
Plus, I have no better idea.
This way, we got 2 possible directions to go, right? We don't find anything compelling down that way. We turn around, we go the other way. It's not like we lose out any particular way that we handle this.
Well, there you go.
Ken's just like, which way are we going? Left, right?
We're going
I think
that
we're
way.
going right.
West, Wombo. Right. Okay.
The basic study of wombology.
This particular section of tunnel, the temperature continues to drop. Whereas before there was a cool but humid air, and behind you there was the smell of salt. Before long, there's not much odor really at all. And for those with dark vision, which I think is just you and is it Pen? Or is it just Bob?
I think
it's Bob and Pen.
Bob and Pen.
I don't got it.
Yeah, it's one of those I don't have Pen's character sheet memorize. Yes,
Pen's a
dark vision.
tiefling,
Okay.
so they should have.
Yes, there it is. The color of the stone also begins to change and darken. It starts off in kind of strips where you can kind of see it reflecting differently in the dim light, and then as it darkens, the pattern begins to shift more and more as it gets darker and darker as you head down this tunnel. The distinct lack of odor, the distinct lack of smell. In fact, unless you move your own like arm or something in front of your own face, you hardly even smell your own natural sense. You're realizing that a lot of these things are just getting absorbed by the area around you.
Is there air movement that's taking place that might be just moving all the scents away from us?
Give me a perception check.
Okay, perception. All right, perception. 15.
15. Okay, so what you notice with a 15 is that the airflow seems to actually be coming almost down from above. So it's not as obvious as, it'd be pushing against your hair and other things like that. You know, you do the whole lick your finger, stick it up in the air, and try to figure out the direction. And it's like, oh, only the top of your finger is just generally cold, and you do it this way, and it's like, oh, look at that.
We can tell that that we're going east because you stick your finger in the.
I don't think that's how that works.
The wind is blowing from the east, and it's in our face, so we're going east. Is there actually is there a temperature change at all?
It's definitely not warm air.
But it's not colder than it's not noticeably colder as we're moving forward.
I mean, it has, as you've left the tunnel, or like the salt tunnel, it has continued to get noticeably colder.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Not enough to see frost when you're breathing, but
right.
A noticeable chill. And then
you only need a light jacket.
Yeah. A windbreaker is honestly enough to, give you just enough insulation kind of deal.
Well, if you want somebody to break wind,
I'm sure Rittingham is more than capable of
I know a few tricks.
But yes, the airflow you notice is coming from above and seems to be moving down towards the ground.
If I look up, are there any is it a stone tunnel? Are there any vents in the ceiling or anywhere for the air to be coming from?
Do you have a torch out, or are you just kind of following along the
I'm
sound of the footsteps?
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking around as I'm walking along.
You see black. Yeah.
A little prestidigitation, a little puff of light. Is there anything on the ceiling?
Does prestidigitation do a puff of light? I don't think prestidigitation does a puff of light, or is that one of the things it can do?
Prestidigitation can do
That's just a shower of sparks.
Okay,
and
so
also
yeah,
light torches and small fires.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could light or snuff out a candle, so I feel like I could create a little, little pa.
And as we established, campfires are just a bunch of candles, as are bonfires. Yes, Bob.
I think we might have actually had that discussion at one point.
A bunch of long-burning candles.
Just as a point of order for future reference, I don't think we actually covered this. My character actually has the ability to use the light cantrip at will.
Yes.
So just as a kind of a standing thing, unless otherwise denoted, when we go into a darkened environment, Bob will be bringing on a little bit of light.
I feel like that's something you'll have to mention every time, my guy.
No,
I will.
It's
do
not
my
just a
best.
perpetual. We have light.
It's forever.
I mean, I think the assumption there is that something that Bob would just kind of do by default.
There's certain safe assumptions. I will get clarification when the moments may or may not require it. I will try to work within the realm of reason with all of that.
Oh, there's an envelope to push now.
No, don't.
Wait, you haven't been trying to push it yet?
There's nowhere.
What has the previous, 14 episodes of this show been?
Oh, just warming up.
Oh, God.
The foot in the door, DM. The foot in the door.
So, Rittingham, you use prestidigitation to create a small shower of sparks.
Near where I think the ceiling is, because I guess if it's just a dark going up, then I don't really see what's up there. Can't accurately gauge distances. Although if we're going off Bob's light just being there, then...
Well, that's where I want to see a point of order. Does he do the sparky spark, and then you go, oh yeah, I can cast light, or...
Let's do it that way. Let's do it that way.
Okay. I need everyone to make dexterity saving throws.
Are you pooping me? Hey, I'll take that. That's just a flat 9.
DM, that is a 21.
So Theo saves me. Please?
Oh, gosh.
grabs my belt as I am precariously perched on a precipitous edge.
Okay, so, oh gosh, Theo, your wits are like always about you. It's dark. It's an unfamiliar place. You've been following people by the sound of your footsteps. You are ready for any sort of thing. And as soon as these sparks shine out of the ceiling, you basically just kind of halt, take a couple steps back. Penn and Bob, who both have dark vision, are suddenly, not blinded, but startled by the sudden presence of very bright light.
Sorry,
and turn and look as the sparks up in the sky, or up in the ceiling, just a few feet from your heads, ignites what appears to be coal dust. And you are all kind of quickly consumed in a... Lasts just a second. Just a quick conflagration of coal dust.
Just like when there's a candle and you run your finger over it real quick and there's no harm done and no one, like, it doesn't hurt at all and you don't even notice really that you've done it. Right? Just like that.
So are we describing a low rent thermobaric?
Yes.
The Dollar General thermobaric.
You three take 7 points of fire damage.
I think you should reimagine what you just thought. 7 points?
Yes.
That's more than half.
Penn luckily has resistance to fire. It only takes 3.
I have resistance to fire because I want it. Please.
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
I'm short, right? So heat rises, so I'm like below. There's like a smoke line. There's like a fire burst line. So I'm like below.
No, unfortunately, the envelope pushing DM.
What it really means is that while Penn and Bob had a lot of their torso, which has clothing and things
just
that got it, and but they have horns or hair. You it's all your head, and you're effectively bald because you're a Verdan. So it's just all skin that was caught. Your clothes are totally fine, other than the sudden soot that has gotten heavier. Instead of just being coal dust, there's soot that kind of settles on your clothes. The other thing that you notice for a few seconds after is that taking some breaths doesn't make you feel like you've actually taken a breath. Like, breathing isn't replenishing oxygen as readily as you would have expected, and then it begins to work again.
Oh, because all the oxygen from the fire and interesting.
Penn, after experiencing and witnessing this, and his experience with, well, let's just say, chemistry from back in their days in medical school, suspect and makes a statement of, guys, probably the only reason the flames went out was because it's low oxygen here.
So no more prestidige, no more sparks, and probably no torches either. I guess we're just walking in the dark.
So, Penn, you're a medical sort. Is this kind of like when you're hiking, you're climbing up on a mountain, and it's kind of hard to breathe? Is that what we're looking at here, or we're looking at something different?
Yes, it is like that. Just the other way. There's not enough flow. Or the flow that is here is not breathable.
Do we want to continue down this path, or do we want to turn around and make the assumption that maybe if Klor is here, he was taking the other direction?
That's a good question. Who wants to spend time hanging out in a low oxygen environment, aside from scuba divers?
Well, I guess if we're making the assumption that to further delve means less oxygen, then nothing is at the base of this tunnel because nothing can live without oxygen. So we should head west.
Wouldn't we be calling it the essence of life instead of oxygen?
Essence is more oily.
Oh, okay. You're right.
I would consider it to be a viscous fluid that, eventually gets really tacky.
Are we talking humors? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, you want humor?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The joke being the deadpan joke. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, live pans have more of a ping sound.
Who's ping? And why are they here sounding the rock?
This guy I knew. He saved China once. I guess she saved China once.
Good for her. Good for her.
Where's China? Ping was a dude.
Maybe Ping used both pronouns. She, her, and he, his. Could have been gender fluid. You gotta be acceptable and accepting of people. There's no point in being
genders are identities, not fluids. We were just talking about fluids and life essences. I'm sure
Are they more? Our gender's more like essences.
I do not believe we are ready for this discourse yet. I suggest that we turn around and go the other way.
West it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
bravely run away.
Clip clop, clip clop.
There we go.
They're clacking those coconuts together.
As you guys turn the other direction, you head towards where, in the distance, there is the light of the salty hallway.
It sounds like a bar.
The salty hallway. Yo, that's a pretty good one.
I'm not taking notes on that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not filling out an application for an LLC. What are you doing?
Salty hallway.
All right, that's a thing. That might be a thing now. We'll see when it shows up.
That's up next.
You guys head the other direction, as what Rinningham is calling west, I believe, with 100% blind confidence.
Oh, that's what kind of confidence to have, my guy.
This direction.
Don't say this direction. Just say west. It's west.
Don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. If you're not going east, you're going west.
A Rinningham West.
A Rinningham West, yes. As you head Rinningham West, that is going to be a new actual direction.
Special flavor.
Let's see.
Rinningham West, when you want the wrong direction.
All right, so got it. This is going to get really interesting. So as you head Rinningham West, gosh, I'm going to get so lost with using this as a point of direction.
Don't make it a cardinal. Just don't.
Just it's wherever Rinningham says west is. It's Rinningham West.
Whichever way I'm headed is Rinningham West. Just don't. You want to head Rinningham East. It's the way you want to go if you want a coherent thought.
Well, you guys were heading Rinningham East, so you can keep heading Rinningham East, but instead you turn Rinningham West. And as you head Rinningham West, the stone beneath your feet begins to soften.
We've crossed the T. Yes.
We're softening the stone heart of the central blah blah blah.
It starts to soften like sand, or it starts to soften like a non-Newtonian, like the thing itself. The thing itself is getting soft, or the like what you're stepping in is soft. That make sense?
Is that Oubliac?
Am I making a Am I making a distinct enough separation between like soft like sand and soft like is it a natural soft, or does it feel like
sand is rough, coarse, and gets everywhere? So
that's why I like it. Anakin's good.
We are going to have to, however, go with the sand description.
Okay.
It starts off as pebbles, and then the pebbles get finer and smaller, and there's less of a distinct, clatter, and then becomes the soft crunch of sand, as if you're walking on a beach.
Not so much of a roof, such a clatter.
A rose, such a clatter. Come on now. Up on the roof, a rose, such a clatter. Get it right.
Or else 3 ghosts will visit you. Technically 4.
The ground beneath your feet is soft.
Love it.
The sandy material. Some sections firm up just a little bit, so it's an uneven texture as you go. However, you begin to notice the light from the hallway behind you, off from the salted hallway. As it continues to dim its gray-blue light, the hue in this hallway begins to change, and it becomes a slightly greenish, and it starts off rather faint. But as the blue-gray light continues to fade off and the sandy texture of the floor begins to increase, you see spots kind of on the wall, thin veins. Some of them are splotchier, where there's a faint green glow.
Is it coming from the wall? Like the walls are emitting a green glow. It's not like there's reflecting.
It appears to be coming directly from the walls, correct.
Ugh. Can I, like, if I tap the wall?
Sessions from now, we all wind up with, like, medical issues.
Superpowers. We have superpowers. Nope, we're going the other way with this one. Going the other way with this one. Superpowers. If I tap the wall, anything?
Tap the wall.
Any kind of shimmer? Any kind of reaction?
Do you touch where the green is on the wall, or do you just tap the wall, like, next to where the green is?
So it's noticeable veins of green.
Yeah. There's like striping and then like patches that kind of
like above. I don't want to touch the green itself. I'm going to touch like close to the green.
Okay, so as you tap next to the green, or near the green,
not spinach.
It does kind of like pulse with each tap, just a touch, just a little bit, but the pulse ripples along more than just right near where you touch it's brightest closest to where you've tapped the wall. but the pulse kind of travels a little bit, and occasionally on some of the stronger ones, it goes a couple of feet down the hallway. As it like stretches around across the ceiling and down, kind of like fractaling out just a touch.
Hey guys, this wall likes being touched. Check this out. And I'm just like, pep, 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 pep.
And as he keeps tapping it, the before letting it dim back down, the brightness continues to kind of grow, and it continues to spread across. Bob, can you roll me a nature check?
I will do my best. I rolled a 19.
You have seen this phenomena before.
Then I have to.
I have.
In your many traversals through the wilds of the world, from your humble abode on the, west central side of the, grand
It's
ocean.
a moss-covered humble abode.
And this is very reminiscent of some of the glowing lichen that you have seen in some of the wetter, darker forests that you've trekked in the past.
Okay. So as I'm tapping it, when I if I take a little brief pause to look around and see if everybody else is looking, when I look back, is it still getting brighter even though I'm done tapping it, or is it kind of like a
when you
ripple
stop
effect?
when you stop adding to the sensation, like the pulses just kind of like echo further down along, and then they just kind of fade off as they go, and then as you stop, it slowly stops.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm gonna, now that I've had this realization, I'm gonna walk over to one said Renningham. I'm gonna walk up to him and go, if you make it mad enough, you won't really like it.
Oh, it has feelings. The walls have feelings.
Just the it's not the walls, it's what's living on the walls.
Oh,
just be nice to it, don't harass it.
Oh, okay. Don't harass it, ask it to pay taxes or vote.
Exactly.
Oh.
But otherwise, just be nice to it. Don't make it mad.
Sorry, Mr. Wall. And I give it a little flourish and keep walking with the rest of the class on our field trip.
Roll me some percentile dice.
Oh, percentile.
Yeah.
All right. That is a solid, 33. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Look at that. As far as you can tell, the wall does not react to your flourishy.
Yeah, that's fine. Most people don't.
The hard crowd.
I know.
Hot crowd. Do you guys continue onward into the tunnel?
I don't see anywhere else to go, so why not?
The further you head in, more and more of this lichen that's growing along the walls and ceilings. What was little strips that had pockets that were more prominent turns into more and more connecting pieces, and it turns into a veritable web just kind of like crawling along the walls. It's a dim enough light where you can see shadows of each other, but it's not really bright enough to make out distinct features.
So we're confident as we've been walking along that it's just a single path. There's been no branches off. There's nothing. We can see that this is a self-contained
roll a perception
tunnel.
check.
God bless America.
Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her.
Something about waves of grain, man. Fucking 3. Wait, perception. 3.
You haven't.
I'm entranced by this lichen as I'm walking along, and I kind of keep looking out of the side of my eye and just kind of not poking it and prod it, but just kind of waving my hand across it, not caressing it, but a soft kind of just, and I see the kind of tendrils of light trickle around and off my hand, and sometimes I'll push just a little bit, but not poke, but just give it a little more pressure, and it makes a little bit of a brighter radius around my hand as I'm walking along. I'm loving this. This is great.
For clarification, are you still only touching the rock next to it, or are you touching the lichen itself now?
Oh, I think as I've been walking along, I may have hit the rock and then kind of glided over the lichen. I may have touched it directly, but as
I just wanted to
along,
make the reaction. The pulse is significantly stronger when you touch the lichen itself.
Yeah.
So as you're going and you see the faint glows kind of brighten up along the wall, and occasional moments where you touch it, you can actually see a glint of texture of Renningham's face for fraction of a second before it dims once more.
Is there anything left on my? There's nothing left on my hand. There's no residue. It's not a slimy lichen. It's just kind of a dry, a leafy thing.
Yeah, honestly, it has a very little texture. It's almost very tightly touching the rock. And there's nothing you can see on your hands.
Okay.
It's like a dry heat.
Okay, yeah, I dig it.
The one noticeable thing
that explains the 3.
The one thing you do notice, and you all kind of notice it as you continue to go, is that the ground is continuing to get softer. Whereas before it was a sandy texture, now
quicksand.
It's not so much quicksand. Whereas before you were like sinking in only, so deep. It does kind of start to go around the tops of your shoes, but not much deeper than that.
Oh, like that? Is it softer in the middle versus the edge of this tunnel, or is it evenly distributed? Like as I'm walking closer to the edge to touch the lichen on the side of the wall, do I notice that like when I walk back to the middle and kind of like
it's firmer as you're closer to the walls than it is in the middle, but it doesn't impede your movement any, and
right.
it's not wet or sloshy or anything like that either.
But neither, even whenever it's like kind of curling over the edges of our boots, it's not impeding our progress.
No, it's more just it's a very light, almost dust at this point, but it stays low to the ground.
The thing of it is, I've been in an awful lot of places now ever since I left home. And even there, I kind of got around when I was on hunts and such, but I ain't never experienced anything like this. And Theo kind of kicks his foot a little bit, kind of dragging it through the dust, kind of intrigued by the texture of what he's seeing.
As you do, it plumes. But normally where you would expect if it were like clay dust, where it would like go and go and go, this plumes out as if you were like underwater. It plumes in a direction, but then continues to settle down.
Huh.
And you notice that as you kick up a particular amount, beneath the stuff that plumed and flew, the material underneath is darker.
Ooh.
So what was a lighter sand turned into this lighter dust on top has a darker substrate underneath it.
It has a darker underbelly.
Theo, you say you've stepped in a lot of things then. How many other things have you stepped in that were similar to this?
Nothing really similar to this before. I mean, dry dust is a bit different than this. Mud is different than this. Water is different than this. I've been through a bog once. Someone lost a horse there once upon a time. It wasn't a very nice thing, but even that felt different than this.
A bog. Bogs were more spongy. Yes, a little. Was it peaty? Was it a peaty bog?
It was a very depressing bog. I can tell you that much. Wanted to make people despair, dragging themselves through it. Ruined a pair of boots once.
I bet it was pretty depressing. I bet that child's was really, really sad about that horse.
Oh, he was absolutely torn up. And so were all the children that found out about it.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well,
I imagine also with your shovel that you've dug up quite a few things before. Have you dug up any dirt like this? And like I kick it as well. Kind of kick it like not towards.
Oh, nothing like this. The soil at the farm
like,
is better than this, better consistency than this. This wouldn't be very good for farming.
Not for farming, but what's underneath?
Are you telling me that you want me to use my shovel to dig?
Can I borrow your shovel? I'll dig with your shovel. Can I borrow your shovel? Is it a special shovel? Do you have another shovel? A trowel? Probably more my size.
I do not have another shovel. I do not have a trowel with me. This is my shovel that I brought from home.
Well, I don't really want to use my hands, but whenever you mentioned stepping in it, it piqued my curiosity. I noticed that the colors changed some.
Alright. Hey, DM, can Theo use his shovel to move a little bit of this dust out of the way? Preferably away from the group. He's not trying to shovel it onto them.
I want to see if it's a different color, another variant substrate beneath.
So as, party kind of shuffles, I guess, around, you have some room to kind of scrape. Do you go deeper than you did with your foot with the shovel? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And then.
Yeah, like what do you describe that for me? How deep we going?
Okay, well, yeah, Theo knows that like his kick was just kind of playful and light. In this situation, he's kind of digging it in almost as if he were trying to scoop up a shovel full of dirt. Like he's trying to dig a hole for planting purposes almost.
Okay. You pop your shovel in, and it goes down about 6 inches before it hits a solid, and you can feel it kind of reverberate up the shovel in a familiar way. Clunk, that it hits a solid surface underneath. However, as you pick up and move the material, you see that there are 3 distinct color layers in the dim lighting. Oh, wait, actually, Bob, are you still having your light spell present, or are you just letting
we've still got a little bit of light spell working.
You can now see a much better layering as to kind of what you're walking on. The topmost appears to be a very thin, silty clay material. However, it doesn't behave how you would expect. It tends to stay towards the ground. The second layer is just a dark, finer than sand, but not necessarily the same full-on texture as what you would expect for soil up on the surface. However, the bottom layer has an element of moisture to it, and that does have some texture. It has some texture, some different random just pieces of what appears to be some sort of organic material, and lots of little pockets, little pea-sized pockets of glowing things that are reacting rather I say viciously, but not in a malicious way, like just fervently reacting to the fact that they were just so distinctly disturbed.
What? I've never seen dirt like that either, Theo. I think we're in a league of our own here.
Yeah, this is certainly not like any sort of dirt or soil I've ever dug up before. Bob, you mentioned something about not wanting to make whatever it is angry. Do you know anything about this?
It's like a lichen or a moss type, and
okay.
I'm not real familiar with what this is, but I would guess that what we're walking through is not actually dirt, but spores. Probably lots and lots of spores.
Spores? You mean like eggs?
No, more like mushrooms, like fungi.
Yeah.
I'm a fun guy, but this is disgusting.
Okay, that's a subjective statement.
What's subjective?
Hey.
We're all having fun here.
Pen turning. Hey, he's grown on me.
See, Pen understands my sense of humor. We've had laughs. I'm fun, but this.
I mean, Pitt tried to stuff you down a conveyor belt.
We were having. It sounded fun. Conveyor belt. I could move without me having to move.
You could have also exploded.
Yeah, but I didn't, so it's fine. Hey, that's a bit spores. It is spore.
So we should not be breathing these in, then.
No, I stuffed my face underneath my shirt. I'm breathing nothing.
I mean, I'm just throwing out a hypothesis here. I'm not 100% certain. Can I do a nature check?
In that case,
on that
I think
one?
it would be very smart.
You could do a nature check on that one.
Yeah, let's see how confident I am in this.
It explains my congestion.
You die in the game, you die in real life.
Growing bioluminescent lichen in my sinus cavity. I'm gonna sneeze a glow stick.
Bob, are you wearing? That would be really funny. Are you wearing gloves? Like, do you have like leather gloves or something on your hands?
That is a really good question. Let me check real quick.
Because I knew you were distinctly looking for socks before when you got to the city, but I couldn't remember if you had. I have
an obsession with socks.
I know Theo has mentioned multiple times effectively the work gloves that they're kind of using a lot of the time. So I was curious if...
Actually, I am not wearing gloves.
Okay. With a 16, you kind of follow some of the lichen off the wall, kind of go down to where it meets the ground-ish, and you can see where it kind of branches out a little bit as it approaches the ground, and then you kind of like mess with it at the edge, and it glows a little bit, and you pick up some of the silty material, but it doesn't glow or seem to react at all to you touching it, the topmost layer. And it does have a silty consistency. It's just not of a material that you've seen before, but you're actually pretty confident that the top layer is not spores. What the bottom layer might have in there of spores, it's much harder to tell, but this is not necessarily, it's a lichen-like, but not like a lichen you've ever seen before. Not like the lichens you've ever seen before.
So it's a lichen. Lichen light.
Not like the lichens you've seen before, like the ones that howl at the moon.
Ahoo!
So, should I tell everyone that I've lost confidence in my original hypothesis, or should I just let it ride?
Or you can say you have experimented on said hypothesis and have come to a confident conclusion that you were wrong. So it's up to you on how you disseminate this information.
The last one is the right thing to do, but when you start presenting complex ideas like that, people keep saying that the science has changed. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with option 3. Hey, you know what? After further examination, I don't think this top layer is a spore. I'm not sure what this stuff is.
What does it taste like?
I don't know. Here, tell me.
No.
I was gonna say, did you just taste it?
You've told me it was spores. I don't want spore in my mouth. I'm not getting paid for this.
No. We just corrected it. It's not a spore.
Well, that's what you say. But first you said it was a spore. Make up your mind.
Pen just kind of goes down, picks up some fingerfuls after seeing you do it, messes with it. You know what? I think Pen would.
Pen would do the taste test.
Oh, ew.
Pen would do the taste test.
Oh, it's gritty.
It tastes like new Coke.
And opens her mouth and Rinningham, roll me some percentile dice.
More percent. I love this. I love percentiles. Here we go.
Sorry, Shelby. We didn't mean to.
Wow, 32 actually.
Oh, you're rolling
very
the
consistent.
30s.
I'm headed upwards and downwards, onwards and downwards, upside down.
Onwards and downwards.
Nothing happens. Her mouth is open, just kind of like nah. It's flavorless, but in a bitter, bad way. It's like it takes all the parches. No.
The astringency is overwhelming.
Is it when she like opens her mouth and like
water?
Does it look before she drinks her water? When she's like nah, do I notice her tongue like a different color? Or can I see any of the stuff on there?
All looks normal.
Yeah, and she's
like
she's,
it was
really
barely
not
like
happy.
the tip of the tongue on the tip of the finger, kind of like that's the amount now.
But she's like pah. Like she's really not having it.
Like a ripper bed.
And I'm grossed out. I'm grossed out by it. I'm really not happy about it. I want to cast prestidigitation to clean her mouth, like to just just clean the mouth.
Minty fresh taste.
She's like, and then all of a sudden there's just like, you watch as all of the moisture suddenly like pulls out of her mouth into the air, or his mouth, because Pen is a male, played by Shelby, who's a female. Into the air for a second, just kind of like plops to the ground, and you actually can see like where the spit is. It just kind of sits there on the surface, and it just kind of, you ever huck a loogie onto like really dry dirt, and it just kind of like, it's kind of like that, just with the line of spit. It just kind of it just kind of sits there
like a snail's trail,
and goes back to the water, just like glug. Like, what the hell?
You shouldn't put that in your mouth. You don't put strange things in your mouth. It didn't even smell good. You thought it wasn't food. You cleaned your mouth out.
Smell bad. It didn't.
Did you give it a sniff test?
Yeah.
It passed?
It didn't really have any smell.
So with my elongated schnoz, I'm gonna kind of bend down to the ground, like just give it a little.
I mean, now that you talk about it, I can't barely smell any of the nastiness that we had on our clothes earlier either.
And like I'm starting to kind of. Why?
To be fair, in the clothing nastiness, that was prestidigitationed away.
Oh, but there's
Rinningham, you did that. You were the one who cleaned everyone off.
Oh, hey, you're welcome. But there was no, like, you still can't smell any other, like, there's no aroma.
Okay, well, roll me a perception check.
But DM, canonically, you said that we couldn't.
15. Aha.
I said you couldn't smell anything on
With
the
advantage.
other side of the tunnel.
On the other side, that's right.
With advantage because my nose. I mean, a big
With
nose.
advantage because of his nose.
The big nose.
I'm going to say with advantage if you get on all fours to do some smelling.
Ooh,
Alright, Igor,
I'm not
clear
getting on all
check.
fours. I'm not getting on all fours.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
You sniff around, and starting off at the wall, there's not a whole lot of anything. You kind of get towards the ground, and there's not a whole lot. If you go to where Theo had dug a small section out, and it was
a divot,
maybe yay wide, just a little divot, just down to the. There's a faint but distinct to the rest of the area, an earthy, not necessarily nasty, pungent, but it's a distinctly earthy smell.
Like compost.
Yeah,
Or
but
like-
not in the
like a forest after it's rained into the fall. There's like decomposing leaves, and it's just kind of, you can almost
closer
taste
to
a
that.
little bit.
Petrichor!
Yeah,
Petrichor.
except with a faint
hint of nutmeg,
kind of sickly sweet note to it.
Death. Yeah.
But I'll be honest. Yes, it smells. There's a
Something.
non-plant something in there too. But that's the kind of odor you get. You can smell each other ish now. I mean, those of you who still have coal soot have some nice deodorant naturally packed onto your body right now.
Activated
But
charcoal. That's all the rage. Well, Theo, I say place that dirt nicely back in the hole. Sorry for making. I didn't want to make you do that. I just thought maybe this is an interesting situation we find ourselves in. I've never stepped in something that reacts so kindly. I've never touched walls that light up.
both in character and not in character, Rinningham is having difficulties breathing.
Say, that is some serious dedication.
I sniffed up a little bit of those spores.
Oh, you poor thing. Are you still cold?
Oh no, it's
Yeah,
fine.
Theo puts the dirt back, taps it down like he would any other soil that he's replacing.
You turn to go and return the dirt, and you notice that the stratification that you had kind of like cut it out and moved it has kind of started to spread itself out. It's
On his shovel?
I had taken it as you like picked it up and like kind of moved it aside.
Yes,
Is it on the
yes,
shovel
he did
still?
move it aside. No.
Okay, well, on the side, so we're just kind of picked it up. Where it was originally a small mound, it has started to flatten kind of on its own, and you see the little pea-sized pieces are starting to kind of like move on their own in the direction of the earthier soil, like material. And with it, you see some move forward, and then others kind of move along backwards and are pulling some of the layers of dirt with them very slowly, like half a centimeter every couple of seconds, just very gently moving around now that you've turned your attention back to it.
Glad I didn't see that. Oh,
Oh, this is really weird.
And also, as you look backwards, you notice where you kicked up before is no longer kicked up. It has more or less re-leveled, and there is no evidence of your footsteps coming down this
Seems to
hallway.
Reset.
You look back and there's only one set of footsteps.
Theo puts the dirt back where it was.
Nice dirt.
Very nicely. She said a little gentle tap to level it down. Sorry to have disturbed you.
None of your touching and disturbing of the soil there had any reaction along the walls or ceiling.
So here's a thought, gang. If Klor were to have been taken here or otherwise come this way, we wouldn't have any way to really tell because there wouldn't be any sort of traces left behind.
No footprints. Good way to run if you're trying to hide.
Is there anyone here that has the ability to detect magic?
Does Pen have detect magic? Pen does not have detect magic.
I don't either.
What if we throw the dirt at the wall?
Oh,
Why
and
would we
make
do,
it
what would be
mad?
the point
Oh, yeah.
of that?
I don't know. It makes bright colors. I took a lot of deep breaths. My brain is oxygenated. There was a big influx. A little lightheaded, okay?
I say that we keep moving.
There's no telling what's in front, so we should be careful. Maybe someone else go first.
I'll walk first. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, Bob, you do have the light.
Maybe we put Pin in the front because Pin has those amazing eyes of his that can see in the dark.
And those scary
Maybe-
horns.
I thought you were talking about the color, but okay.
Head down, Pin. Lead with the horns.
Maybe closer. You stay closer to me and Renningham since we can't see in the dark.
Are they
Even
horns
if
or
it's all
antlers?
glow, it's kind of hard to make things out, and I really appreciate that light that you got going on.
Like calcium-based? Or is it more like a fingernail?
Pen turns to they're horns. They don't fall off and regrow seasonally like antlers would.
Lead with the horns.
See, and all this time I thought they were antlers.
Just the way it be sometimes.
We make some real cool things out of antlers.
I've seen
Think so.
Christmas. Well, sorry. Nope.
Go for it. Go for it.
No,
Go for it.
I was gonna say I see Christmas trees, but there's no such thing as Christmas.
What your family can celebrate whatever holidays you have.
I've seen menorahs made out of antlers. That'd be some redneck Jewish stuff right there, man. An antler menorah.
I think you have to go to Montana to get one of those.
Ding diddling, ding ding diddling diddling, ding ding diddling 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 ding ding diddling diddling.
On a bit. Hey, it's
It'll
more
spin
it's more
dreidel face.
cultural appropriation than anything, you know.
Yeah. It'll spin dreidels. They spin Budweiser bottles.
No, it's PBR. Come on, do it right.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a light beer though. Natty light bottles. They don't even come in bottles.
So Penn leads the way.
Onward and upside downward.
And 50 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet. And the walls kind of sort of stay the same. And the texture, it softens, but you almost can feel now that there's an extra squishiness, but you're not sinking any further in. Just a little bit more spongy. Before, not 10 or 15 feet out, what had first just appeared to be just more layers of the lichen really just was more of a trick of the eye as the space opens up into a rather large diameter space.
The final.
And the ceiling is covered in this lichen, but as you go in, you can see that The brightness comes up just a touch as up towards the very top, the lichen is at its densest that you've ever seen. And it's enough that you can faintly see a circular patch in the middle of the floor, in the middle of this room. And you're coming in on it kind of on an angle, so you have to like turn into the room to actually see this space to see what's going on. It's about, 60-ish foot diameter space.
In that neighborhood, yes.
And out of the ground, in that central area, there appears to be mushrooms of varying sizes.
Mushrooms!
And colors. Yeah. Mushrooms. We've had one,
Is there
yes.
a caterpillar hanging out around here somewhere?
Token it up? No, there's no stone caterpillar hanging out on these mushrooms.
Okay, just checking.
Mushrooms of different colors, you say?
Yes, mushrooms of different colors.
Interesting.
There are some faint blue ones, some green ones that match closer to the lichen colors, ones that are more yellow in hue, and then some larger ones that are like stool size where you can kind of sit on them, if you know that type of height, that are the rims are starting to have a purpley hue to them, and these mushrooms themselves are glowing.
Do I see any bowls of porridge? Curds and whey?
Oh, please, no giant spiders.
Oh.
Do you want to roll percentile dice for some porridge?
No, I don't want to see anything.
Speaking of spores, if we were to...
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to make the Miss Muffet joke. Description of the room. We can keep going. A lot of mushrooms with giant curling on the edges, different colors, dim lights.
So, for a 60-foot diameter room, the central most 20-ish feet of a circle each kind of have just like different levels of just kind of mushroom growth. The tallest being in the middle and goes to about 4.5 feet tall, and then there's just little pockets of other mushroom all kind of next to it, and they're emanating a faint glow all their own. And you can see on the material, the substrate that they're kind of sitting in, faint tendrils going out about a foot and a half of the same lichen that you've seen climbing all along the walls and on the ceiling, just kind of like spread out from this pocket of mushrooms.
Well,
there's now enough brightness just from the lichen and the mushrooms themselves that you can actually start making out features of each other's faces and stuff. You wouldn't be able to really read in it easily, but it's more usable than the light in the tunnel that was behind you.
There's no one sitting on the mushrooms?
There's no one sitting on the mushrooms.
Do they look like natural breeds?
Nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah, okay.
They look like they're from the Underdark, but we don't have an Underdark.
So the area...
Who says we don't have an Underdark?
The area of the mushrooms...
Speculation.
Directly above the area of the mushrooms is the really, really dense lichen.
Yeah, almost solid. You can... Yeah, it's definitely thicker and glowing more distinctly.
I mean, I've seen a lot of mushrooms in my time, but never anything that big or glowing.
I don't think I want any of these mushrooms. They don't look... Not here to harvest.
Bright colors when you're out and about are oftentimes a warning sign.
I don't want to be poisoned. No, thank you.
As you guys kind of walk into the room, the other thing that's kind of noticeable is similar to as you were approaching is the texture on the walls along with the lichen makes it very difficult to kind of gauge where crags and crevices and anything else are. In fact, turning around to see back towards the hallway that you came, if you hadn't just walked that way, you have to kind of stare at the ground and kind of see where the ground should be meeting the wall to kind of make sure that that's where the path would be.
So it's screwing around with our depth perception.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you go to a fun house and they give you like the 3D glasses and then it's black light and just like the neon spray all over the place or the dots, and it's just, usually there's a person with dots.
Or the drunk goggles they give you when they try to tell you not to drink and drive.
Yeah. So DM, walking around this room trying to find the next path, is it possible for Theo to keep his foot up against the edge of the wall as he walks?
Yeah, you can try to keep yourself, are you going kind of circling around to the right, around to the left? Like which way
I think he'll go to the left.
Okay. That's kind of the direction you guys came in. You know, if this is a circle here, you guys kind of came up from the side, and so you just kind of keep going around if that makes, if that's satisfactory.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Does anyone go with Theo as he explores?
I shall stand still and mark this spot.
Okay, yeah, we should... looking around and noticing that it's no real discernible exit, and even looking back and seeing how well the place that we just came in blends in. We shouldn't leave too quick. Some either stand here or mark something on the wall, put something on the ground so we know where we came from. Because I'm not getting lost with these mushrooms. And then I'll kind of follow Theo as well.
Almost as if he's afraid that the mushrooms are going to attack.
Not attack, but I don't want to get lost. You don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been.
Theo, roll me a perception check with advantage as you are trying to be very methodical and intentional about your, if you just said you were walking along the wall, but no, you're like, this is what you're detecting, this is what you're looking for, this is...
That would be a 13, DM. As Theo just kind
Okay.
of slowly makes his way along the wall with his foot. I'm dragging.
You stub your toe.
In my boots? Are you kidding?
I mean, it can happen. You could. It just doesn't hurt so much, but it can trip you up. It would have stubbed your toe if it was regular shoes. Yeah. Your methodical nature pays off. As you are stepping along, you find sections where there's no light that's activated along the walls. Other times you get close to where some of the lichen has met the ground, and as you step, where it didn't react so much in the tunnel before, it reacts more now. Where you step and it kind of pops up the wall for a second and doesn't make it all the way to the pinnacle of the dome in here, but it does travel a fair ways up the wall. And you find a spot where the light kind of goes off and then suddenly disappears off to the right, of like following the light just kind of, and looking beyond that, you see that there is a space about 5 feet wide, where the tunnel you were in before was about 10 foot wide. Wasn't terribly prevalent, but this space is about 5 foot wide. And again, if you hadn't been kind of walking right along here, you can see as you peer through that there's more lichen on the inside of this surface. Even walking the other direction, it would have been pretty easy to miss if you weren't carefully watching for the floor. And so you find a spot. Do you stop there, or do you want to keep kind of going?
Well, Theo's a bit curious to see how many exits there are, so he knows that Renningham is following him. He's going to say, hey, Renningham, do you mind standing right here, buddy, by this exit? And I'll try to see if we can find another one, maybe?
Okay.
Ahead of it.
Yeah, this you show me stand right here in this exit, in this doorway. What's down this way? Have you looked a little further? Is there anything down there?
I have not looked any further. I want to make sure and see if there's any other ways out of this room. If this is the only one, then we can all explore it together.
Do you have a torch? A candle?
I do have a torch. Yes.
What about a candle? Something smaller? A stick?
I think I have anything smaller at this point.
I mean, it's not pitch black, Renningham. It's the same. It's slightly brighter than when you were in the tunnel before.
Right, but I can see down the tunnel.
Just a touch, yeah. I mean, you see if shadows are moving and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't watch the tunnel. I'll stand here by the tunnel.
Appreciate it, buddy. And Theo's gonna keep going and just see if there's any other.
Can you roll me one more perception check, and then Renningham also roll me a
20.
perception check.
Oh
wow. Okay. Yeah.
5.
Roll me some percentile dice, Renningham.
Mother of Hubbard.
You're just giving me fun opportunities to do these sorts of things, so...
an 88.
Okay. You see nothing the whole time. You're staring down there. There's a moment where, like, your foot slides a little bit because you're just, like, kind of waiting for Theo to finish his thing, and your foot kind of slides a little bit, and you see the color change in the soil, and you're just, like, gently tapping it back over, and then you look up, and you're like, wait, was that? And then it's like, the lichen shifting or something like that. And it's like, oh no. It's just...
And I'm looking down the tunnel, and I'm looking back to make sure that I know where I am, and make sure the tunnel. I have this feeling that the tunnel's gonna disappear or regrow, and I won't be able to see it, and I won't be able to get back into it, or I'm making sure that Bob's not moving because Bob's standing over the exit, or the exit's not moving. I'm getting a little paranoid here. I don't like. A little paranoid. Like being underground.
You do see Penn is kind of slowly just kind of meandering around and getting closer and closer to the mushrooms. However, Theo, you continue along the wall and you find another spot not terribly dissimilar to the one before, but this alcove starts off maybe 18 inches wide. And if you weren't staring at the ground, there's actually even lichen on the lip of stone to kind of pass into this area. It's narrow, it's snug, it appears to open up back there, but even using your ground trick that you had found used to find the first path, this one is even harder to find, but it's there. There's a space to go. It appears to open up wider once you get past the first couple of feet, but it also gets much darker, much quicker compared to the other tunnels that you've either found or been in so far.
Guys, I found another, I don't know if you call it a doorway or whatever it is, but there's one over here too. It's a bit smaller than the other one that runs by, but I think we got two options. I mean, it looks like if we can squeeze on through the first couple feet, we might be able to maybe keep on going this way too.
And with that, Penn kind of calls over as he approaches the mushrooms. Okay, be there in a sec. Penn just kind of meanders on up, and Bob and Renningham, the two of you who, kind of hung back and just kind of keep scoping things out, notice that as Penn has been approaching the mushrooms, where before in the substrate that you were walking on, the ground didn't really react at all. But now as Penn is approaching closer and closer and gets within 10 feet of the edge of the mushrooms, there now starts to be faint glows on the ground when they take steps. And then as they get within 5 feet, the glows are distinctly brighter and even make some of the closer mushrooms kind of pulse very faintly, just a...
Hey, Penn, look at your feet.
Penn starts kind of just like gently tapping back and forth. And starts to glow, 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 glow.
Be careful.
It's
Don't
a
make too much of
hoedown.
a ruckus. I think we're going where Theo is. We're moving forward. We're getting out of this room. Staying away from the mushroom.
Let's see if Penn responds.
Penn kneels down for a moment and picks something up from like the base near one of the mushrooms, and it appears to be a knife.
A knife!
And stands up and kind of looks at this and then looks at some of the other
Where do you even get a knife?
mushrooms. Hey guys, I think people have been slicing off pieces of mushroom.
But why did they leave the knife, Penn?
Because they're too stoned to remember it.
Gosh, I wish Shelby was here. I wish Shelby was here to like
Keep adding like the commentary. Yeah.
To make these terrible decisions that you want to make?
Or, I mean, yeah, there's a semblance of Penn that's always curious, and I'm curious to know if Shelby's vision of Penn is curious enough to do what I would think Penn would.
You think that Penn would eat some of the mushroom? I absolutely think he would.
Firmly believe that Penn would eat some of the mushroom.
I absolutely think he would. That is very Penn.
I'm surprised it hasn't already happened, actually.
I think he would, DM.
So Penn goes over and finds a piece of mushroom that, to them, seems to already have had some cut done out of it. It's got like a ripple in it as it's grown back together. It's not a smooth cap, and just kind of like carves off a bite-sized chunk. And
oh, Penn,
hey, you don't know where that's been.
And we're going to use that as our break. And yeah, just chill out, relax. We'll be back in about 15 minutes, and then we will continue on with this
when Shelby joins us again, she's just going to be
down
like
underground.
She'd be like, you only took a small bite of the mushroom?
Conditions.
Yeah, just a bite-sized morsel, just like a little.
But which
with the
mushroom did he take a bite of? Like, was it the colorful one? What color was the mushroom that he took a bite of?
We'll handle that after the break.
Yeah. That's even better. Yeah, we'll handle after the break.
Live.
Oh my gosh, we're back.
Via the magic of the interwebs.
I know. The interwebs really is magical. I don't really have a good way of describing it otherwise, because even the engineers who designed it don't fully understand it.
All I know is that sharks like the interwebs too.
Yes, they do. They like to chew on the cables.
They have a salty flavor. So salt, bitter, or savory?
Salt? I believe it doesn't salt.
It's piquant.
I'll say it's its own
category, right?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I have one of those uncultured tongues.
Salt is its own flavor category.
Yeah, it's its own part of the grouping.
The beauty of salt is that it stimulates the taste buds and effectively opens up the
so does
sensory
battery
receptors.
Acid. So, is there like an infographic?
No.
Flavor infographic.
We've gotten so off course.
Images.
Speaking of flavors, DM, what did that mushroom taste like?
Umami. Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're doing. Sorry, we're doing it.
Umami is the savory type flavor. So where we last left off, Penn had taken the knife that he had found, kind of just laying there among the mushrooms, and just kind of carved off a slice.
I forgot I only have 6 hit points. Don't eat the mushroom. Don't eat the mushroom. Don't do it. Let's not let's not light this candle.
It's a Roman candle. Too late, my man.
As Pen does and slices it off right along the edge of it's one of the greener mushrooms that has like a purple lip, so it's one of the larger ones.
Sounds like a terrible idea. Let's do it.
Kind of just like cuts a piece off of like the edge of it.
Doesn't even see
and as he does, the seam right where it was, it kind of like glows a little bit brighter, and you can kind of see like, actually Pen's the only one who really sees this, a much finer, tiny like rippling of the glowing light, that kind of has been permeating through all of your experiences so far. And then takes off the chunk, and the chunk kind of glows along the seam where it was cut, and you guys can see a faint glow, a little bit brighter from where the raw section is before it slowly fades. And Pen can see this, and I'll have to relay this to Shelby. Pen can see that it, within a few seconds, the piece that was cut out slowly begins to grow back together. And it's slow at first, but then it gets kind of faster and faster. And it doesn't only takes a few seconds to become noticeably smaller of a gap.
Mitosis!
But the chunk that Pen had cut, just kind of, bite-sized morsel, just kind of pops in his mouth, and
bad idea.
I kind of see like a little bit of a shivery type response. Not good raw. Not bad raw. It's just
raw.
Spongy.
It's got an earthy taste.
Yeah. It's better than the soil.
Ew. You've eaten soil? Why would you put soil in your mouth? People walk on that.
I mean, you literally just watched him do it.
Yeah, but still, it's gross. Why would you do that? No one.
Nice.
Mushrooms, you season them, you put them in stews. You don't just pop them raw from places you don't even know. Who's grown this mushroom? What are its effects? It doesn't look like a mushroom. This is
I can tell you one of the effects.
Oh no.
Oh.
Here we go.
You know how we camped, a couple hours ago and really haven't stopped?
Yeah.
We camped and haven't stopped camping.
Stopping
this
now.
morsel felt like a whole mouthful, or like a whole stomach full. Like I feel full. This feels good.
Oh, were you hungry before?
Not really, but now I know I'm not. That I didn't, I was peckish, snacky, just kind of, and the aftertaste is not that bad. It's like a hint sweet, but not like overwhelmingly sweet. Like I wonder what would happen if you like tried to saute with these, if they would, sweeten up, kind of like, yellow onions and stuff do, or sweet onions do.
I'm a fan of a sweet onion.
Just kind
of just for the sake of doing a baseline
little butter,
survey,
a little garlic.
Real quick, how many fingers?
You are really far away, and it's dark. I mean, I can see in the dark, but you're really far away.
That's fair.
Okay. That's what we need. We'll check back later and see how that's going.
Any other mushrooms you want to try? What other flavors are there?
I don't know that that's a smart idea. Especially if you're not familiar with a type of mushroom and you see it in the wild, it's not usually a good idea to put it in your mouth if you cannot definitively identify it.
He already ate one. What's another one gonna do?
Pen starts kind of cutting off some of the other colored pieces just to kind of like look at them. And
group. Most mushroom species don't cohabitate. So if this was a bad mushroom, then
you're the guy who can't even tell east from west.
How do you know? We've been heading west this whole time.
No.
I would have laughed so hard if you had said east this whole time.
That would have been funny.
I thought about it for a second, but I was like, wait a minute, no, we're headed west.
So as Pen cuts into the one that was like more yellow in hue, the inside where the cut seam is pinkish. That cuts the one that's slightly bluer in hue, and the inside of that one is a very orangey kind of color. And they glow very faintly, and then they, very quickly begin to kind of fade. And some of them don't seem to start growing back as quickly as the others. The large ones start to recover much faster. And then just kind of like, that one has, that's weird. It's got like it's not as spongy. It's got like a stringier kind of, licks the side of the texture. It's like overcooked chicken kind of. And almost flavored kind of like that, but on the back end it's a little spicy.
Does he still have the piece in his hand?
Yeah, I just kind of been licking it, just kind of like tasting it instead of, because it still feels full.
Well, you can't tell whether or not it's good if you've eaten the whole thing. Eat the whole thing. And I prestidigitation, or not prestidigitation. Yeah. No.
Do you mage hand it? Just like pop it into.
Well, no. I flavor it to taste a little bit better. To taste like a rich curry, like a nice, has good umami to it. You know. To
the one that Penn has already been licking, or to one of the other ones.
We taught him a new word, and now he's going to use it.
Okay.
The one that he's already been licking. The one that he took a first bite of, was like not too sure about. At this point, he's my petri dish.
Why?
I don't. He brought this on himself. I don't know.
Yeah, eats it and belches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I really feel full.
We should probably stop eating the mushrooms then. Yeah, you're full. You were full after the first one, and now you're more full.
You want to try one of these?
You know what? Cut a piece off, put it in your pocket, and I'll eat it later.
Cuts off
the first one, not the stringy one.
The last one is like super, super soft. Like the other one had like a spongy, but think like calamari kind of spongy texture, like rubbery spongy. This is like sponge cake spongy.
I'm already not a fan of mushrooms, dude. I can't.
Really?
Poor Stuart's just like,
I went to a Chinese buffet once in college, and there were stuffed mushrooms, but there were only like 6 in one of those big, like metal pans, you know, and they were just kind of floating in a liquid. And I was dared to eat one, so I did, and it was not a good experience.
You know,
it was like it just tasted like dirt, and then it was rubbery too, so it was like dirt from the sole of an old boot.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
And has a very similar story in that, he ate mushrooms until a bad experience at a Chinese buffet, and has not eaten mushrooms since then.
And see, I'm so upset because like they're so nutritious, they're very dense, nutritionally speaking. You can get a lot of stuff from mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I just maybe they need to be prepared differently.
Probably.
You know?
I imagine that if you had mushrooms that would prepare better, it'd be
because the other time I had
just
mushrooms,
like Brussels sprouts. You know, you don't necessarily like Brussels sprouts until you get prepared the proper way.
Little mini cabbages, you just
Swiss chard.
Pop them in there. Oh, yes. I'll tear apart some little Brussels sprouts. Put some bacon in there when you fry them up, and the little oil, some salt, and just get sick on Brussels sprouts.
That was genuine enthusiasm.
I mean, a mix of maple syrup and melted butter, and just quickly like slap that right on top before
you stop that.
Yeah,
stop that right now. Don't stop making vegetables sexy. Don't make vegetables sexy.
Anyway, so Penn takes
some
the other
in his pocket.
Cuts a couple of them and just kind of keeps some of the colors or colored pieces and just kind of puts them in their pocket, and now has an assortment of some of the. And just kind of walks back and is doesn't seem to be staggering, doesn't seem to be just like, oh, interesting. Takes the knife and just kind of like tosses it back to where it was, just kind of like lands in the.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Well, the real giveaway, if there's like a problem associated with the mushrooms, is if regurgitation occurs.
So what you're saying is that if Penn starts violently throwing up, we don't eat the rest of the mushrooms that he brought.
Well, either that or they're the really fun kind.
So throwing up, if he throws up too much, it's bad, but a little bit, it's okay.
Pretty much, yes.
Should we measure it when he throws up? Do you have a bucket?
No, just
eyeball it.
Go by gut feeling.
Really? By gut feeling after throwing up?
Thank you. It took me a moment. I had to put that together.
That was a good one.
It's really hard to stomach that joke.
Oh!
I couldn't swallow it.
Anyway. So yeah, Penn comes back and is just like, well, I now feel really full. I only had 2 bites of food, but I now feel really full.
That's good to know. That's interesting.
Well, good. I was going to offer to share my rations, but since you're full, I guess I just hold on to these.
All right.
I think these are rations.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a question that I got here, is that if we're seeing these mushrooms here with a knife, and there's some indication that they may be used for eating, that makes me think that there's people down here in this tunnel. And it was likely not that family that we saw. Because I don't think that dad and his wife and his children would have been suited to try to move past those icky jelly things.
Yeah, and I feel like they wouldn't have found these mushrooms because mushrooms have so many aromatic properties that he wouldn't have needed the medicine. He could have just come in here, he ate some mushrooms, his kid would have been fine. So we did them a favor. Maybe we should take some mushrooms back for them instead.
I mean, Bob did say that there were a couple things that would have worked, but I don't think that mushrooms were one of them.
But we haven't seen mushrooms like this before.
All right. So my point is, though, I think that there's people down here.
People other than us?
People other than us. That knife had to get here some way, and I don't think that the mushrooms dropped it themselves. Which makes me think that we are probably, if not on the right track, we are on a track. So the question is, which of these doors do we go through?
The westmost door. The westmost door. And I picked the one that I was standing to guard.
Which, actually, in the way that the map is laid out in my mind, is the westmost door.
Is the westmost door.
Oh!
Surely.
All right.
Sure, that sounds like a plan. I mean,
The other
it's
one
kind
was
of
like a
big. I don't know how they would have gotten him
like
through this small of an opening anyway.
Yeah.
So let's start with that one.
So,
Bob, did you leave a marker on the door, the place that we came through previously?
No, I'm just standing here next to it. If somebody has something to mark it with, that would be awesome, but I don't have any chalk on me.
I don't have any chalk, but maybe is there a way that we could use cloth?
If you've got a piece of cloth.
Sure, I can get us a piece of cloth. Why not?
I have some ink. Here's an idea. And there's lichen on the wall over where Bob.
Lichen?
By where Bob. Lichen. Lichen.
It's like a baby lich.
It's like a long.
Baby lich. Oh God, no.
So there's a little lich on the wall next to where Bob's been standing. Can I I want to pound the wall to make it white, or to light it up, right? And then I'm gonna draw like a triangle, or I'm gonna draw a mark with some ink. And I'm gonna pound it again to make sure that when it lights up, you can still see the marker.
okay, I see what you're going for.
Like I'm trying to mark the wall, but I mean it's ink. You're not gonna see it in the dim light, the dark. So you have to hit the wall to.
We tap the wall and we.
Okay, that's actually really clever.
That's smart.
Rinningham with a good idea. You sound so surprised.
All right, so you go over and pound on the wall, and it creates a kind of
a canvas.
And
on
again,
which I
a couple
make
of
my
tendrils
mark.
go a little bit further than the others, but for the most part, it creates an area. And what type of symbol do you make with your ink? What color is your ink?
The ink is a dark blue, like a navy.
Okay.
Like an indigo.
In the Navy.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna make like I said, like a triangle.
It's a triangle? Okay.
Yeah.
So you realize that using like a quill or anything else like that is gonna be rather difficult. You just kinda have to take your pinky finger, just kinda start tracing on there, pound the wall again.
Yeah.
Tracing on there, and just kinda takes you a couple seconds, but you're able to kind of get just a very simple, triangle, and you kind of have part of the arrow, I guess, pointing in the direction of the tunnel you guys came in.
Yeah, like where the open. So there's the opening, and then on the wall next to it, kind of pointing towards where the opening is.
Yep.
And then you smack it, and you can see that it lights up, but the ink blots out where the triangle is.
You do notice that as the ink starts to dry, it's still there, but it fades. It's not as obvious, the triangle. It's still, it doesn't disappear, but it's just one of those it's just less obvious as it.
Yeah, you need to be looking for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is the whole idea, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, you already got to know to smack the wall, so
Yeah.
Not just going around smacking walls.
That's a real clever idea, Rinningham.
Well, every once in a while, every blue moon has its dog days.
That's a new one for me. All right, I'll be sure to remember that one.
And they all
I think you come up with plenty of clever ideas.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's head
so
west.
Anyway, let's head through that door.
Which is west.
I don't know how they would get Klor through this small of an opening. He's a big guy.
He is girthy.
Even if he is kind of thin.
Wait, so he's like slim thick?
Yes,
Like
that one.
Like a TikTok model.
Wait, like a model dog? Why?
I just wanted to see Sam's face. I wanted to see what they would do. Onwards and westwards.
Onwards and westwards.
Oh, the coffin.
You only make it about 10 feet down the hallway before your Renningham West path turns into a Renningham South pass.
Oh.
Okay.
And the hallway, for the first probably 60, 70 feet as you head further away from the mushroom area, is back to that same brightness you had in the tunnel that you have been leading up to. But as you continue down, the color of the lichen begins to change. It goes from the very faint green to a very faint yellow kind of color. And then as you continue on, the texture of the ground beneath you becomes more and more spongy. And by the time you're about 200 or so feet from the mushroom area, that silty surface is beginning to get very thin, and the rest of this is now much more of that next layer. The color is darker, the material is just spongier, and you begin to smell and kind of taste a dampness in the air.
It's more humid.
Yeah, just a touch more. It's noticeable. The temperature hasn't changed a whole lot, though. It's just a slightly thicker air.
Okay.
As we're continuing, and those are things we notice. Lichen's getting a little more yellow tinge to it.
The other thing that is pretty noticeable is that each step you take, before when you were walking along, it wasn't until you were within really close range to the mushrooms that the ground itself had enough glow to it. And Penn was the only one who really triggered that sort of effect. For you guys, it now seems it's starting to kind of follow with every couple of steps you take. And it just kind of pulses along, starts up the sides of the walls near you, and then kind of goes both directions.
Does it correspond to how hard you stomp?
Like Skechers?
Yeah. Like if I jump in the air and land on a foot, it makes like a
much more significant, just like kind of enough that even parts of the soil, like the soily substrate, also kind of glows faintly underneath you, and it just kind of goes across, and then after it hits the peak is really where it's almost like it's picture like a scanner in a hallway, like in a sci-fi type thing, where it just kind of like hits the top and then it just kind of like pulses. The whole thing just like pulses down the hallway. So it's like creates up and then boom.
So I'm gonna I noticed that it's like kind of extending. It extends down the hallway or extends
down the hallway. So like if this is the hallway, if this is the hallway and you guys are walking across the bottom, it creates the ring first, and then when it hits the top, that ring basically begins to pulse directionally down the length of the hallway.
Okay. So I jump up and I say, "Hey guys, watch this!" I jump up with both feet and slam down on the ground.
Intentionally slam down on the ground.
Intentionally hard. Yeah. I want to see how far I can see down this hallway.
Roll me a perception check.
That is a 14. I was trying to see if I had any buffs. 14. 14. 1 4. Un quat.
Penn rolled one as well.
So
you jump and watch as it pulses down, and down probably a good 60 feet, very edge of where the pulse kind of dies off. You can still see the faint yellowy glow, but the pulse dies off. You see a shadow that wasn't there the last few times, and then a pulse comes back.
Oh no! Hey guys, we should back up a little further. There's something down there. It's been sending a pulse back. We shouldn't go any further. We should stop right here. And I have my rapier out. I'm not. This is not fun.
Rinningham pulls out the rapier. Another pulse comes your direction.
Hate this. Hate what's
Another
happening
pulse
now.
comes your direction.
I'm backing up. I'm following.
And with
the
each pulse, you can see off in the distance as it's approaching. Now that you guys are watching, you can see the shadow is a few feet closer, a few feet closer, a few feet closer.
Hate this immediately.
And I need you all to roll initiative.
Oh yeah! Awesome!
Slippery little snake. Okay.
Yeah, I was so hoping it would be like a mouse.
A friend. It's a friend, guys.
I can picture this in like a dark tunnel, and like as it's moving closer, the shadow, the void of what the light is getting closer. I hate you're tapping in. You're tapping into some
that's
stuff.
a 12, and I love the horrifying description.
That's an 11.
Thank you.
That's an 11. I have an 11, and I hate it.
All right.
Whoa. It's a visceral reaction from Rinningham.
Second.
I need another drink. That's yo boy.
All right. It didn't actually.
I have 6 HP right now. I'm behind. I'm behind everybody at this point. I'm in the back of the line with my rapier already out, so no Don Doff rules.
All right. So what did you roll, Rinningham?
It was an 11. It was snake eyes. Yeah.
Bob, what did you roll?
I rolled an 8.
8. Theo, what did you roll?
That'd be a 12.
12, and then I have not Ken's initiative.
I'm panicking.
Did that
like I know that I'm not
automatically?
in this tunnel.
Did. What is your initiative modifier, Bob?
My modifier is +2.
Is your initiative modifier your dexterity bonus?
You can get additions on top of your dexterity bonus.
Is my dexterity? So looking at, I said I rolled a 10. 10 was face value, but my initiative in D&D Beyond says +1, but my dexterity is +0. So I'm wondering where the +1 came from, because I always thought the dexterity bonus gave you the initiative bonus. Just my damn it.
We can go and dig through and see where if you took a trait or an ability or something like that later. We don't have to do that right now.
Yeah, not important.
I'm trusting that it's correct.
Okay.
And we're just gonna roll with it. So
I don't remember where that came from, but 11.
All right. So Pen is first in initiative. This humanoid entity, as it continues to approach, you begin to see it's definitely not human. It's not elven. It's not orcish. The surface of its body is irregular, and it appears to be coming at you in a full sprint.
I love this already.
And
I don't.
Pen gets to go first, as it is now, by the time initiative is rolled, it's about 40 feet out, heading at you guys in a dead sprint.
Oh, the sprint. Oh, the speed.
Shia LaBeouf!
The shot.
Pen is going to quickly just kind of start taking a couple steps back and just starts blasting off magic missiles. Oh my gosh, okay, so that's a 5 damage on the first magic missile.
I forgot
4 damage on the second magic missile.
Okay.
3 on the third magic missile.
That's fun.
So,
solid
that
12.
is- yep, so 12 points of damage at this thing. And you watch as each one hits its body, like you see steam and a glow, kind of ripple across its body. And this humanoid has fungal-like features.
Oh no!
And as the energy pulses over its body, you see it echo into the floor and around, and the previously yellow pulses are now a orangey red pulse, and then they return to yellow. That is Pen's turn. Pen took 15 feet back and then blasted off magic missile.
Ewy.
Theo, there is a fungal creature running full tilt in your direction.
It's fungal. It's a fungi.
Okay. All right. Theo is going to cast Hunter's Mark on the creature.
Okay.
The range on that is 90 feet, and then he's going to get his ooze damage shovel ready for a smack when it comes within range.
All right, so casting Hunter's Mark, and then you're readying an action for when it's in range.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hunter's Mark is a
Rinningham.
bonus action, so I can do that.
Yes. and then you're using your reaction to prepare your standard action.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Renningham.
Go to sleep. I'm gonna cast sleep on this. Fungal growth.
That's exactly how he says it. He's just like,
Yeah.
go sleep, go sleep, go sleep.
And I cast sleep. So that's 5d8 directly against its HP.
So you have to basically meet or exceed its hit points. And if there's multiple creatures, you start with the lowest total hit points.
There's no such thing as it. Oh, here it is.
There's such thing as a D8.
I know. I'm a fool. I thought. So I have my D10, and I was like, I see an 8 on my D10. That must mean that it's a D8. But no, I have the D8. So we're gonna roll 5 of these, and hope you kids at home have your math books handy, because I'm not adding these up as I go. So that's a 5. So 5 plus 4 is 9. So that's 2. 9 plus 8 is 17. That's 3 rolls. 17 plus 7, 24.
24, yeah.
Okay, that's the third roll. Fourth roll. See, told you. All right, one more. 6. So 30 is the sum total of my 5 d8s. And does he go to sleep? I guess.
Doesn't stop moving.
Son of a bitch.
Fungal creatures don't sleep.
That uses that, and I am going to step back a ways. Still have my rapier out though, so.
All right, so how far back are you going from where you were? Because you were the frontmost in the party doing your jump.
Was I the mm-hmm.
You were making a point of jumping and doing.
Yeah, I was making a point of jumping, but like at the front of the party. Once I saw the shadow,
it's the typical movie situation of guys. Hey, look at this! You jump in front just to show off what's going on.
Okay, yeah. So I immediately moved to the back of the party. I'm not like away from them, but I am behind all of them. Is where I'm at, and I'm just gonna chill there.
Okay, Bob.
Burn the spell slot. Love that for me.
Okay, so we've decided that this is a fungal creature, and he appears to be angry as he is charging towards us. And if he didn't start angry, he's angry now. Is that safe to assume?
That is safe to assume.
Huh. He was probably just mad because we were eating his cousin. Okay, that's a real shame. All right.
It's a real shame.
Well, I mean, it could have, gone a different way, but instead, we're going to have to saute him, so to speak. All right, I'm going to cast the spell Ice Knife.
Okay.
So let's hit the little cast button here. Oh, come on, work with me, buddy. Come on. Oh, don't make me do it the hard way. You're going to make me do it the hard way.
So you click cast, and that just counts as using the spell slot. If you click on the hit /DC where it says the +6, that will roll a...
Thank you.
Yeah, to hit. Yep.
Thank you.
And then that hits. Holy crap, that hits. Yeah, and then you click on the damage for damage.
All right, cool. See, it's formatting. That's what keeps throwing me off. Formatting. Bam.
Uno. All right, 1 point of damage.
Every little bit counts.
1 to 0. Some people have been doing 0 damage. We're not going to name names. But.
All right, now while we move on, I'm going to have to read up on this because there is something extra about this spell, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Seems like there's an area effect that comes into play. We'll come back to that after.
On a hit or miss, the shard explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of it must make a dex save or take what appears to be an additional point of 2d6 cold damage.
Nice.
So it needs to make a dex save. What is the save DC on that?
We've all seen mushrooms. They don't move very fast. Not very
This
dexterous.
one is moving fast.
Not very dexterous organisms, fungal growths. I like how my camera keeps like...
14.
Because there's a fungus creature in the background. And you just can't see it.
Roll for damage.
Really? That's 2d6.
Yeah. Yeah,
2d6. That's a lot. Wow. On a miss as well.
12.
Jeez.
What was your spell save DC?
14.
That's not bad either. Gosh dang.
So that's 6 points.
6 points of icy damage. Cool.
I see what you did.
Pun
there.
very much not intended.
Right,
do
chill.
you move at all, Bob? Do you stay kind of...
I hold my ground.
You hold your ground. All right, so...
You buffoon.
Just for clarity on order, we have Penn and Renningham are furthest back.
Heck yeah. Renningham's a little bit behind Penn.
Bob and Theo... That checks out. Bob and Theo, are one of you behind the other, or are you guys kind of side by side in this 10-footish wide hallway?
You make the call.
I think Theo would probably be a little bit ahead. I mean, he's sturdy and solid, and he didn't... You know, earlier when that shower of sparks thing happened, Theo was quick enough on his feet to not take a bunch of fire to the face. So he's going...
Checks out. Okay.
Escaped unsinged. The unburned.
Is that his first official title? Theo Bayless, the Unburned.
Theo the Unburned. Ooh. What's that?
All right. So this creature in its running closes ground and beelines towards you, Theo, who's frontmost. And as he basically is about to plow into you, you can trigger your attack.
Alright. DM, that is a 17 to hit. We're gonna do this bludgeoning style, so Theo's gonna smack it with both hands, broadside, just...
Boink. Okay.
That's a grand 1 for that, but I also have Hunter's Mark on it, so... Let me go over to here. Bringing up to a total of 6 bludgeoning damage as Theo just whacks it with the shovel.
Extra 1d6. Okay, because you rolled an additional 5?
Yes. Because I rolled a 1d6 for the Hunter's Mark that's on it.
Okay.
So it took a grand total of 6 damage.
Alright. When you smack it, its head kind of snaps in an unnatural fashion, and you can kind of see like a colored seam around the neck that kind of crackles back into place as it cracks its neck back, and just looks you dead on before with its what appears to be digits kind of like a morph slowly into a stump and just kind of wails on you.
Okay.
I need you first to make a Constitution saving throw.
Alright, okay.
And like as its neck broke, like the seam that
that was so close to a 19. That's a 5. It rolled over to a 3.
Light across its body. Oh man.
Okay. Let me actually do the punch as well, because that's gonna make a bit of a difference. That is a 19. Punch? That is a 19 to hit.
That definitely hits. My AC's a 14.
Okay.
Punch.
Yeah, there's a bunch that's gonna kind of go on all at the same time here.
Oh, great! Good job.
You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
That's too much. What you said there. That's too many numbers.
7 points of poison damage.
Oh, damn. All right. Okay.
You are now tripping balls. Because as he clocks you,
do I put here?
It's considered poison.
The condition is tripping balls. Okay. Is the condition.
However, you are also considered incapacitated while you hallucinate.
Incapacitated.
The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. So you just got clocked out, and
literally,
the walls around you are basically all you see right now. It's every direction you look. There's like a faint humanoid shadow every time you try to. You can't focus for shit. Gotcha. Like the ground underneath you looks like the ceiling, and if you look too hard, suddenly there's like minor vertigo as you're just like, oh, I don't know.
And Theo makes a saving throw to escape this mental cloud after every turn.
At the
end of his
end turn. Of each of its turn, the target can replay at the end of each of. So you're considered poisoned and incapacitated.
Okay, I gotcha.
Until you successfully do it. So you basically, whatever your limitations are for being both poisoned and incapacitated. So poison
Disadvantage on
is-
attack rolls and ability checks, and can't take actions or reactions.
And
So
you're
you can
easily
just-
distracted.
Can't take reactions. Oh,
I
you
can
can-
basically just sit here and
live your best.
You-
Just have fun.
you
Just
can
enjoy the
move.
ride.
You can move. It's just gonna be very interesting to try to make sense of where you're going right now.
oh yeah, no, yeah.
Pen sees this happen,
Fire. We
and
need fire. Pin can make fire. Please.
is just like, nope, 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 nope. And unfortunately, Pen cannot make fire. Pen can, however, try to cast Hold the Dead, so it needs to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Fail.
Pen is just taking more steps back. It's just like, nope, 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 nope. And you kind of can all hear like the very faint reminiscent noises of a gonging bell. But as the creature just kind of shakes its head, the bell just kind of stops. And Pen's eyes just kind of get wide as they're taking more and more steps back. Theo,
My bell has been rung. I'm hearing it.
So, I see Theo like struggle. Well, I guess. Sorry, you do you first. Do your turn.
Oh yeah, no, Theo is definitely struggling. He's not gonna like moving might be kind of difficult for him right now. There's all that vertigo to deal with. He's not feeling too good. Also, he really got the wind taken out of him. Like he's feeling, practically to the point where he's about to pass out again. Like he's feeling kind of faint here, ish, kind of close to it. And so moving is not a thing that he really feels like doing. He's gonna kind of, and he's just gonna stay there.
So, as my bonus action, which I didn't take my last turn, so technically I have one, right? Yes? Are we fair? But,
we're in a new round. We're in a new round of initiative, so you have a bonus action again.
Perfect, love that.
If Theo's turn's over, yours is next anyway.
I need to make my saving throw, so
well,
that's
before you do,
Yes.
because I noticed you're acting a little not like Theo. Like Theo is very, I'm here, I'm going to save the day, and Rinningham says, Theo, wake up! I don't like this. Theo, please. And that's your bardic inspiration for the day. So you can add a nice little D6.
Okay.
Saving throw, please.
I want the DM rule on this, because technically I think you should be doing that on your
so
turn.
you're using a
It's a
bonus action as a reaction?
Well, it's not a reaction. It's like a bonus action.
Well-
like you get actions.
Yeah, but
just like as
typically
you're
your
going throughout
bonus
the day.
action happens
It's a
on your
bonus.
turn is the issue.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
the
a bonus for
problem.
that.
Like it's a bonus, which means that it's like it's something you can use as a
Not
bonus.
how it works here.
So Rinningham, on your character sheet, you have another thing you can use as well that is a very potentially useful bonus reaction that you can use to help your compatriots.
Ooh, but they don't have to roll that. What's his nuts? Doesn't have to roll that. Like, keep them imposed every time, right?
It's
Uncertainty. You talking about silvery barbs? That's the only reaction thing that I have.
yes. So that's every time something. When you see a creature, when a creature you can see succeeds on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can pop that and basically force them to
re-roll.
Basically, have disadvantage. That's really what it is. Is you have momentary, instantaneous disadvantage.
But I thought that was whenever the creature. So whenever the creature succeeds.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna. I can't.
And then
retroact,
choose
like,
a different creature you can see within range. The chosen creature has advantage, so you basically take theirs and pop it to someone else. So
right. But I didn't. Whenever that only could have.
So
been,
for next turn, next things are
as a reaction. Yeah. I was gonna say I
So-
could have done that. I could have done that when the creature attacked had I known.
Originally,
I didn't know. Time wise, okay. I just thought bonus reaction. Bonus action.
But because of the
push that envelope a little bit harder, but
because of the Stranger Things reference that is so particularly
I know, right?
in the moment, I'll allow it.
I mean, we don't have to.
But it's not going to be a normal thing.
I don't want to break the rules. I don't want to break the
Rule of cool. Rule of cool. I'm trying to give you your moment, but also, like, you do have things that you could have used in the moment.
You're paying taxes on it, but you get the
All
bonus.
right. So I have a D6 for Bardic Inspiration that I can add to my con save then.
That is correct.
Okay.
What's the
All right,
D6?
DM, that's a 15.
Okay, you are no longer poisoned and incapacitated. You are.
Oh,
You snap.
goodness, that Bardic
You
Inspiration
wake up.
saved me.
You snap back into it, and you're like, "What the heck is that?" And then you now can
to
focus in
reality.
on what's right there in front of you. Like,
goes
oh.
gravity.
Now.
Thanks for that, Runningham. I mighty well appreciate it. I only got one little problem. That thing really took the wind off my sails, rung my bell, and so on and so forth. I ain't feeling so good still.
Just don't let it hit you next time.
Oh, I'll work on that.
Redingham, it's your turn.
Oh boy. I'm gonna throw this dagger. I don't want to get close to this thing. I don't have any other ranged attacks. I'm just gonna throw my my ooze damaged dagger. I'm just like, ha, you know.
Just kind of. Okay.
Yeah, just throw it at it.
Roll to attack. Roll to hit.
13 flat.
13 flat. That.
I don't think I have a proficiency in thrown.
You get a +2 on your attacks for.
So then a 15, I guess, straight out.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess finesse, light, thrown, range. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and you're fine with that. So, yeah,
15. Yeah.
15. That hits. Roll for damage.
That's just a D4, right?
A D4 -1. That's damage.
So 2. I rolled a 3.
Okay.
3 again.
So you whip that dagger, and it just kind of like sinks in, and again you watch as the ripple just kind of like pops out. However, this time where it was yellow and then the walls were kind of a changing color, this time the wound itself is now kind of glowing as the dagger stays stuck.
Ooh.
And it just kind of glows and radiates a faint orange.
Hey, DM, talking is a free action. Now that Theo's feeling a little bit better, can he say something to the group?
We're still within the rounds of combat, so it's short phrases, short instructions, short information.
Go for the head. Its neck is weird.
All right, so that's a Renningham. Do you stay back there and just kind of? That's what you do.
I swift.
You swift.
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna stay where I am. I'm not moving anywhere because there's still plenty of people in betwixt.
Betwixt.
That's a good word.
Bob, it is your turn.
And because Bob's going to try and be a decent person, we're going to do a little cure wounds action on that Theo character over there.
All right.
And let's roll some dice and see what happens.
Bless you, Bob. You are a kind and gentlemanly person.
There we
All
go.
right, Theo, you get 11 points of heals back.
Gosh, that
was a good roll.
I'm about to say you just get that for free. That's crazy. +4.
Because I'm awesome.
Yeah.
You are awesome. Bob is my favorite person right now.
Brew healing potions. We have a Bob.
I like Renningham too. Both of you are my favorite people right now.
All right, Bob, do you have anything else? Any bonus actions or anything else you can do?
No, not really. No. No, I could step back a step or two.
You can wild shape as a bonus action if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, let's do
I don't know
that.
if it's prevalent. Okay.
Yeah, just a couple steps back. Nothing major. Just enough to like dissuade me from being the primary target. Yeah. I'm
okay. Yeah.
The sissy side here.
So Bob takes a couple steps back and then just takes a couple steps back.
And that's it.
That's it. Okay.
We've done some healing. We've done some stepping back. I think that's about all I can do right now, realistically.
Okay. Big bad mushroom dude.
Mushroom head.
Is this revenge for the white dragon?
No, I promise. This was planned. Every single one of you needs to make a charisma saving throw.
Heck yeah. Suck it, nerd. You're in my arena now. I get advantage on charisma saving throws.
Oh, Shelby, nat 1.
That's a 5!
Pen has a nat 1. Okay.
Oh, I got a 17 plus 5. Should I roll again? Plus 7. Suck my toes. What is this? Yeah, 17 plus 7. What do you want from me? I saved. I don't care what it is. I saved. 17 plus 7. Do the math. 24. I saved.
So, you all hear this, however, to all but Renningham, the noise, well, to all but Renningham, it's a very, like, dissonant, echoey sensation. Renningham, you hear this much clearer in your head. It is a broken... It's not even really a voice. You can hear a tone or feel a tone of communication of anger and sorrow, and the biggest sensation is frustration.
Everybody keeps eating my cousin. I'm telling you.
So it's frustration, anger, and sorrow. However, for you, Renningham, you're able to, you get some more flashes and pieces of information that imply regret, and it seems to be tied to the actions that are being taken against the party. You get the sensation of regret, and you get the image in your head of the clocking of Theo, and there's regret and anger and frustration and sorrow all at once.
From the attack action. It didn't want to do that. I can pick up from the notes.
Before it goes ahead and takes another swing at Theo, who's right in front of it. What's your AC again, Theo? 14? It misses. Huh, it misses. Okay, so it just kind of... And you, in your coming back from being dazed self, are ready for another pummeling. And this fist smacks into the wall next to you, and you watch as the yellow pulses orange, and then a deeper blood red than you have ever seen, as it just kind of like and kind of echoes across.
Oh, it's angry.
And then when the lichen returns to normal, the light is dimmer in that spot, distinctly dimmer, kind of in that band, and that is its turn. Pen.
It's like a wounded animal that's just frustrated and angry at the world.
Pen is going to just magic missiles again, because they don't really know what else to do.
Why not?
So that's pop 3 of these bad boys off. So that's 2 points, 3 points, and 4 points. Look at that. 2, 3, 4. 7, 9 points of damage. My math? By my maths?
That tracks.
Yep.
With that Midwest dislocation.
And Theo, being right in front of this entity, you get the best view as more of these chunks of its body just kind of starting to burn, and the sections that are still glowing from before even are still letting off steam. And from more of them, some of the cracks similar to its neck, they're now showing up on different parts of its body as more and more steam is just kind of like seeping out. It's also strangely not reacting to the impacts themselves. It's just taking them. And Renningham, you get another sensation in your head of just an echoing of why? It's just the big question, why?
Not ours to do but wonder why, but it's ours to do or die.
Theo, batter up.
Yeah, batter up. Okay. All right. Batter up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, since alarm doesn't do me any good, and I still have 1 spell slot, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mark this thing again. Concentration dropped last time, so I got incapacitated. But might as well use it.
Clocked pretty good.
I did get clocked pretty good, and I would have failed the con save on that anyway. Theo's gonna take a deep breath. He's gonna say, "Look, nothing personal, pal. To be honest with you, it looks like it's down to you, my party, and me, and I'm awful sorry about this." Gonna roll to hit. And that is a 12.
12 does not hit.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's AC is between 12 and 15. Information. And with that hit missing, Theo's just gonna he's gonna kind of just stay right there, I guess.
Okay. Cool. Renningham.
Yeah, so I my voice is kind of going. So I picked up on the I kind of felt this remorse, this not happiness that this fungal creature is experiencing. So I'm gonna try to use my my limited telepathic ability to kind of communicate we don't want to fight, we're sorry for whatever, we're not here to cause trouble idea towards it.
You get an immediate pulse back, and the sensation is no.
So then I'm also gonna communicate an I'm sorry, and I'm gonna lunge forward with my rapier and try and get it in the head, aiming for the head.
For it.
This sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hit it.
Let me go back to my actions here to make sure I'm adding the right. That is an 11.
11 does not hit.
Yikers.
So as you lunge forward with your rapier, you kind of tap into some of the protrusions. It's fungal protrusions, but nothing that seems to really catch, and it seems to fall off almost painlessly as they just kind of lops off, nothing of consequence. So you had to move. So you did a move action to run up and Kerstab.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little lunge action.
Bob.
Okay. Real quickly, I want to do a knowledge nature because something doesn't feel right about this creature. I'm trying to see if I can get some insight on the nature of this thing.
Yeah. Knowledge nature, get nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh wow! I don't know anything. I rolled a 7.
Yeah, it's it looks very fungal-like. That's about it.
There's something weird about this thing.
But yeah, so I'll let you kind of do that as a passive-y, bonus-y type. So you can still do a standard action if you want. I'll allow it.
If in that knowledge nature, did I get the feeling that if I were to try to speak with animals, I would be able to speak to it?
I'm going to say you have a hard time making a determination either way.
Gotcha. Who wants to call high or low?
Low.
All right, let's see if we roll a low. Oh, we did not. Okay, in that case, we're gonna take this this Shimashar that I have, and I'm gonna swing at it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna swing? Go for it.
Swing. Let's see if we can whack it.
Scimitar. Shimashar. What do you say?
That's a 17 to hit.
That's a hit. That is a hit.
Alrighty. Let's see what kind of slashing damage here we can do. That's 7 points.
That's not bad.
Where'd you get a scimitar? Brick, where did you get a hand grenade?
So you kind of walk up and make a definitive slice, and
when I cut off an ear.
Oh, you Van Gogh'd him?
Oh my god.
You Van got him.
Bob kind of steps around Renningham, especially because, Renningham. And, does his slash with a scimitar. And the two of you get to see distinctly that as the slice kind of goes through, especially along towards where Reningham's dagger is still kind of sitting in its flesh, his whole body pulses. His whole body pulses the reds that have been going on turn and shift towards more purple. And the brightness on the edges of his body begin to dim. And the reactions to the rest of the room around him are also dimming. As you strike, his before you would pulse around the walls and seem to react according to what damage he was taking.
You're
that's
killing
happening
the
less.
room.
So that is Bob. However, it didn't take too kindly to what you did, and again, Renningham, you get another, sensation of just no, as it takes a swing at Bob. That's an 18 to hit.
Which that hits.
So as a reaction, I'm gonna use silvery barbs. I'm gonna cast silvery barbs and magically distract the triggering creature.
All right.
So it rolls with disadvantage.
It takes the lower of the rolls, which is still the 18.
It rolled 18 twice, is what you're telling me.
Well, no, it rolled with its attack bonus. It rolled an 18 the first time. The second roll was a modified 20. So it takes the lower of the two. So it's still disadvantage. Bob, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Which he has with advantage.
Which he does have with advantage.
Please.
Okay, so the first one is a 9. Let's see if we can do better than that.
Roll better than that, please.
Let's roll better than that. Oh, that's better than that. That's an 18.
That's better.
That is a good better than that. So let's see.
Not a wasted spell slot.
I don't know if it matters so much because on the bludgeoning, Bob, you take 9 points of damage.
Oh, that's too much. That's
and I go down like a sack of rice.
That's too high of a number.
And Renningham, you get another sense of the regret, like the hate of self, like regret of self. Hen, from a distance, watches this happen and is just like, what is the other? Oh, look, we're gonna go for that. We're gonna go for, they're gonna go for a chill touch because Pull the Dead didn't play so nice last time. Chill touch. So let's do that. Whoop. That is a 14 to hit, which does, and so deals again better than nothing. It is 3 points of chill touch damage against the creature. Is there anything else? If you hit an undead creature, it has blah, blah, blah. On a hit, it does the. Okay, cool. So that is Pen's turn. Theo, there is this. It is not looking good. Its whole body is like pulsing in the sickly red, fading into purple. Some sections of its body aren't glowing at all anymore, like it was, was before.
Okay, we're gonna batter up. Theo's gonna use bludgeoning style on this sucker, aiming for center mass, like, right where that dagger is, right where all the damage is. He's just gonna go for that sweet spot. That's his goal, is just swing away.
Use the flat of your shovel to kind of hammer the dagger in.
I mean...
Oh, that's not one. That's a 5.
That's
your ooze damage shovel. Oh no.
That's
okay,
not
the
gonna...
ooze damage only did something to the strength, and he took 2 ooze damage, so that just means that he has a flat roll on attack. That's it. On the damage.
Oh no.
Yeah, he swings and he misses. Maybe he's distracted by Bob going down like a ton of bricks, and he's just like, no.
I mean, this is the second time in 2 days that Bob's gone down like a ton of bricks, so...
Yeah.
That you're, So, okay.
Flashbacks just first occasion. Alright, okay. Theo is not going to move, out of the attack range here. He's just going to kind of maybe angle himself around, so he's like body blocking Bob.
Currently, Renningham is the one closest to body blocking Bob, because Bob had to share a space to do his attack, and so, really went back to where he was before.
Okay, then maybe Theo will move the opposite direction to try to draw the creature's attention away from the other two. So he'll kind of skirt around the other way to kind of be like, hey, I just took a swing at you. You're going to try to hit someone, you should try to hit me. Type of thing.
So kind of dance around it without leaving its range so that you're not
exactly. So after the missed hit, Theo's just going to circle around and kind of
cool.
Face it down.
Renningham.
Yeah, so I'm gonna again project like I don't want to do this either. Like I'm sorry that you're sorry. But I'm still gonna kill you. And so I'm gonna strike at it with my rapier.
You just get like a sense of acknowledgement. Like it's not a sad or happy, it just acknowledges. What'd you roll?
Isn't that one?
Here's the thing. The dice, much like my voice, are losing it's a losing battle.
Oh no.
What I rolled could potentially be a 3.
But it's not.
As we apply our modifiers. But at face value, I'm looking at a single digit here. And that's a 1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 1. That's a natural 1. Hate this.
We're at 2, guys. We're at 2.
Hate this dice. I feel like I have another block somewhere up here.
Renningham, do you want to do anything else? A bonus action or anything like that?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I want to kind of in a words of inspiration to Theo and say, "Look, Theo, I I can't really do Ren's voice.
Don't do the voice. Save your throat.
I tried to, and it's sometimes you miss. It doesn't matter how often you miss. It just happens. It just matters how many times you keep swinging.
I got it. I understand. Swing getting hit this time. Gotcha.
So Theo has some bardic inspiration.
Okay. You'll still be able to use a reaction later. If necessary.
Yeah, could potentially.
Yep.
But that's a 1. That's a 1 from me. All
right. So you're now on to Bob's turn, and so I'm going to roll Bob's first.
I don't like that I wasn't punished. I'm worried.
You didn't hit.
Right. I rolled a natural 1, and we're moving on.
It doesn't really mean that you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the punishment is that you miss.
Yeah, that's a bad punishment.
I didn't do a punishment. Like I really did think about using like a punishment deck and stuff like that for nat 1s, or if there's like certain situational things, like if you're firing arrows and you nat 1, it's like, okay, well, did you have an ally right behind them? Like there's gonna be now there's a cover chance of did you hit the ally? Like stupid things like that. In this case, like there's no real. Again, it's with your rapier. You're tiny.
Well,
you just watched your friend die.
I agree.
It's way more conditional. Okay, so that is the first death roll. The Mushroom Man takes the bait and tries to track you.
So, was that death roll a success or a failure?
I'm not telling.
He's not going to tell you.
Well, I can't track it if you don't tell me.
You're not the one tracking it.
I track these.
I forgot about that.
Remember, it's for the drama. He rolls our death saves, and he'll let us know afterwards, like if you live or die.
I'm trying to talk him into revealing this information. Stop arguing on his behalf.
I can't help it. I'm a lawyer. It's what I do.
We talked about this.
I mean, I was going to say something like, my sheet says it. I have a tracker on here. I just want to use it. And now that argument's not even going to hold water.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm an attorney.
I would love to come administer some medical aid, but I have a +0, and if I already rolled a natural 1, if I roll another one, I could kill you.
You have already you rolled the ones out of your dice. You're safe.
All right, DM. It's taking the bait.
So that's a 7 to hit you as it, kind of jerkily, unnaturally moves and tries to swing with its other arm. And you notice that where the one had turned into like a more of like a bludgeony
type thing.
Yeah. This one, you can see where the fingers protrusions kind of start to do that, but they don't finish. In fact, it seems like they almost get stuck in like, you can almost see like dry seams and as it swings in your direction, but misses. And as it hits the wall again,
scared of the claw.
You see more of it just kind of like turn bright and then just like fade darker. And so now you're in a section that is, where the rest of it was a dim light. This section is much darker. This just 5-ish foot stretch of lichen appears to be not doing so hot. And that is all it can do this turn. Pen is going to chill touch again because that worked so well last time. That is a
touch these mushrooms.
17 to hit, which hits, and deals a whole point of damage.
Hey, you know, it works. Every little bit helps.
Start carrying your weight, Pen.
Theo.
Yeah, I know. And I get Bardic Inspiration to add to this. That's 1d6 to add to the attack roll.
Got it.
You do.
We
Do
can't
it.
all hit, but
Do it.
That doesn't mean you stop swinging.
Great, that's a 13 plus, but I think the 13 would probably hit anyway.
13 does hit, but, you know.
Plus another 1 for a 14 for a guaranteed hit on this sucker.
Yep, you've hit it. Roll some
Alright.
damage.
Theo's gonna stare it down. He's gonna be like, look.
We're both here.
That is a 10 plus a 1d6 from Hunter's Mark. 14 damage total, bludgeoning.
Rinningham, you get a whole wave of complicated emotions of joy, sadness, fear. Why is echoing as the shovel just kind of like sinks in, and you kind of can see more of the cracks, but as it does, the dagger kind of slides out on its own as the body just kind of like starts to dry a little bit unnaturally. It almost, you know, looks like a shriveled up, if you were like buy packaged like dried mushrooms, it just kind of begins to shrivel, and it kind of, instead of like falling to the ground, it just kind of like goes, you know, stiff and just kind of like leans against the wall. And as Theo pulls the shovel back out, the whys kind of stop echoing. And you watch as the color of the lichen around it, that as it leans against the wall, changes back from like the dark. It kind of glows again, faintly purpley. You see little wisps of you know, spore-like things just kind of like dance down its body as it just kind of goes dark.
I feel bad about that one.
I retrieve my dagger, first of all.
We gotta get Bob some medical attention. He just went down.
I turn around
He's out
and say,
cold.
Bob, what are you doing? No laying down on the job. Get up.
Penn, you're a doctor. Can you do something about this?
It is, if we want to stick an initiative, Renningham, do you have anything you want to try to do? Can you do anything for Bob?
No, I so in the roll of initiative, I pick up my dagger and I look at the mushroom husk creature, and I kind of want to just push it over so that it falls into like the under layer, or like to fall back into the.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
so
about?
So as you touch it, you can feel like what was definitely a solid entity now feels almost. Have you ever seen like an abandoned hornet's nest where it's like a very thin paper mache like crunch?
Oh yeah.
And as you do, like it's solid enough that it does start to kind of, but it crunches underneath, and you kind of have like a tingling sensation on your hand. It's not a painful or bad. It's just it's a weird, just tingly sensation, and it just kind of, you know, does fall over and just kind of crunches and falls. And
yeah,
where what you would expected with something more fleshy would be to not kind of poof like it does, and it just kind of breaks into some pieces, and just like some of the dust kind of settles across.
Okay.
Some more of the lichen on the walls, if the dust kind of plumes against it, like it turns purpley and then slowly fades to a dim yellow light.
But I have my dagger back.
But you have your dagger back.
Alright, cool.
Alright. We're gonna do Bob, have one more roll.
We're out of initiative, though. That's
we kind of are, but Penn is the next one who's going to be able to do something. So if that's the case, the way initiative would roll would give Bob one more time before Penn can try to do Penn things. What can Penn even really do?
Okay, so Bob.
Does Penn have any sort of like medical thing that they can use to stabilize him? That would at least help.
I mean, Penn's kind of a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Penn's a doctor, right?
So Pen is going to go up and just do like a base
lay on
medicine
hands?
check.
Yeah, like lay on hands probably.
Actually, yeah, that's actually plenty successful.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a 19 total. Pen goes over there and like Bob, roll me a wisdom check. Wisdom saving throw, Bob.
Bam.
It's the closest thing that I can think of that would fit in a prevalent fashion.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, look at that. 22.
Nice.
So there's a weird sensation being on the edge of death.
I'm getting
this
used
close to yeah. But what's most distinct to you is the fact that like you're not entirely aware of your surroundings until all of a sudden you feel something kind of like cradling your consciousness. And then all of a sudden you're popped back into reality. And you kind of sort of come to for like a bit of like a TKO moment where you just kind of like snap to awareness before kind of falling asleep again. And you see Pen looking down at you with his hands kind of like cradling your head and neck. And you have just a very faint "oh no" moment as you've witnessed what can go very wrong when
we're doing
when
this
Pen
again.
When Pen makes adjustments, but Bob, you are stabilized.
Yay!
So that technically puts you at 1 hit point.
Yay!
We are out of combat. Can I end the combat? Why is it not letting me end the combat? It's hello, let me end the combat. Oh, whatever. I'll just close the encounter. Yeah, so Pen is kind of there cradling your head and just like, hey, it's okay. You know,
you're gonna be okay, buddy.
Gentle, like whispering nothing's like, it's fine, you're fine, I did it right. Like, and you're the only one who can hear this. Like, they're whispering to you, just like, I did it right this time. It's fine, you're fine. As you are, in fact, stabilized. So that's a whole hit point. And you're just kind of like slowly come back to consciousness.
Yeah, great.
Renningham, can you roll me a wisdom saving throw?
I can, and I have advantage on those. 13 on that one with advantage. And then, so we're gonna go with a 13.
Okay. You can still hear, kind of echoing in your head,
oh, no.
the why. It's faint, but every so often it just kind of like pops in, and it's not your own sensation as it just kind of.
I have a very astute sense of consciousness thoughts versus intruding thoughts. I kind of just drop to my knees, and I'm like, I just kind of like scoop, I kind of scoop and let the crumbliness from the mushroom creature or the fungal creature kind of fall through the fingers, and I'm just like, we didn't want to. You attacked us. I'm sorry. It was self-defense. We didn't want to fight.
You don't really get a response, and the dust and remains in your hand do continue to have like a tingling sensation. Again, it's not painful when it leaves your hands. Like there's no burns. It's just a very distinct sensation. It's different
like
than when you were touching the lichen.
Yeah.
It was different than when you were touching the lichen, or even when you touched a little bit of the dirt before. It's just what do you guys decide to do before, as we wrap up this particular evening?
Oh, well, let's see. What I plan on doing
Sleeping.
is very selfishly casting a Cure Wounds spell upon myself.
Okay.
Like a plan.
And that is going to be for 12 points.
Okay. You watch, or Penn just kind of like, hey, you hungry?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. There's something creepy about those mushroom bits.
Penn just takes another one out of their pocket and just kind of like takes a bite. So, where are we going? Should we go back and take a rest, or I have burned all but one of my spells, so I should probably take a rest. Plus, we've been traveling like all day.
Rest is in order. Someplace away from this lichen and.
How about we go back to the mushroom room?
The mushroom?
The mushroom.
I want to go even farther back. I want to go so far back to be a past and put the mushroom room behind us.
The mushroom room.
The roomy.
I mean, there was the hallway with all the dust that kind of led into the mushroom room. We could put up camp there, maybe.
Oh, I'd be okay with even going further back than that.
Look, what would be the point of backtracking the whole way if we're gonna just keep pressing on?
I mean, there's just something wrong about this whole area. I don't know what it is, but there's just something wrong about it.
Well, I don't think we have much room to navigate through here, so I think it's safe to say that we can head back.
We don't have mushroom.
All right, so here's my thinking here, though, right? We know that no one was coming from back the other way that we came into the mushroom room, although we do know where that entrance is. Then we got that other entrance that I found that was like maybe 18 inches or so. That's kind of slim. People would have to squeeze to get through it, which really only leaves this little tunnel that we got to really keep an eye on. So maybe if we go put up camp in that room against the far wall, we have people take turns keeping watch. We can get a good night's rest while all staying safe.
You do that,
and I can get more snacks.
And Penn can get more snacks.
They really are filling. Like, I feel pretty good after that last one.
I wonder if our friend here ever ate these mushrooms.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think that we're gonna go back to the mushroom and set up camp.
Okay. With that, you all get a you guys are gonna take watch.
Yes.
But it's quiet. It's almost an eerie, uncomfortable quiet. Can I get the order of the watch? I assume Bob is going to just rest because he was, dead for a minute. Theo's feeling pretty perky. Okay,
so he'll take first watch.
Renningham, are you going to take a watch?
Probably not.
Okay, I can do last watch.
All right, and Penn will take the middle watch.
Okay, so are we doing?
Let the little kid sleep.
We're doing 6-hour shifts or 4-hour shifts, or how are we do? How many? If I can get 8 hours continuous, that would be awesome. The 4-hour shifts?
Sure.
That'll work.
Cool. The long rest in 5e, it's a little bit more fluid than like Pathfinder's, distinct rules on how much of it has to be like truly restful, and also taking watch counts as restful time, assuming that your interruptions are less than a certain period of time.
Okay.
So you'd be able to, even if do a shorter stint, if you were to do 3-hour watches, you'd still get enough rest if you were one of them. If that
that'll work.
Follows. Okay. All right. So you guys kind of find yourself a way to tuck against the wall. You kind of notice again how the way the lichen just kind of folds and stuff like that against the walls, and it's just a distinct shape in the room, and how really it is hard to tell unless you knew where those entrances were. Like, you would have a hard time seeing them without accidentally stumbling into them. The night watch goes fairly quietly. The only real thing is you notice every so often like something kind of like small creature similar to those little sized lizards like scuttling across, and you see like little echoes of the footsteps it's taking along the lichen as it just kind of like ripples across. Sometimes even the top just pulses on its own and just kind of like brightens the room just a hair for a couple of seconds. When we come back next time, Renningham is going to have some interesting dreams. But you also all level up. So
Yay!
We will roll for hit points at the beginning of the next session. Hopefully, Shelby can join us.
Yay!
And depending on when it is, whether it's next week or a freaking month from now, because that's just how life happens. Maybe, just maybe, Dave will be with us, or I'll just let him know to update his character between now and then. So, outside of all that, thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope that we get to play again real soon.
Thank you, DM. That was super fun.
Yeah.